subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Luffy is a little surprised. He didn't expect that the invitation letter from Doflamingo had already been sent to him after he arrived in Dressrosa for more than half a day. This intelligence work is done well. Sir Crocodile, Joker, it's you. The Cadre Monet just died trying to kill the Straw Hat Pirates. And here he directly entertained the Straw Hat Pirates, Gecko Moria. And this guy found out the whereabouts of the Straw Hats so quickly. How many servants did he send, Sir Crocodile? Stupid, didn't you see the white frame video just now? Is there a woman under Doflamingo who has the ability to stare fruit? It must be that woman watching It's the Straw Hat Pirates ship. Crocodile looks down on Moria's IQ, Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fufurfur, Sand Crocodile, if you join forces with me, we can fight 4 emperors. Although Doflamingo doesn't like Mariah, he still appreciates Crocodile, whether his crocodile's strength or intelligence. Doflamingo feels that this is his perfect partner, Sir Crocodile. You better give me some place to cool off and stay there. Crocodile unceremoniously rejected the olive branch thrown by Doflamingo that night. Luffy really came to the appointment. However, not everyone in the group came together. Only Luffy, Nami, Buggy, Sanji, and Chopper. As for the others, they stayed on the boat. After all, no matter how strong Luffy is, he will never do anything to put all eggs in one basket. Passing through Central Street, the 5 of Luffy came to the Land of Kings. Seeing the appearance of the 5 Luffys, Doflamingo, who had been waiting here for a long time, took the initiative to win Fufurfurfur. Captain Luffy, for a big man like you to come here with honor, it really makes my ruined palace shine. Doflamingo's face is full of smiles, as if an ancient eunuch is welcoming 4.2D. For Doflamingo's attitude, Luffy is not too surprised. After all, this is a world where strength speaks. The Straw Hat Pirates have demonstrated their strength during the Summit War. In terms of strength, the top combat power of the Straw Hat Pirates is no less than that of a 4 Emperor's pirates. And Doflamingo fought against Straw Hat Luffy during the Summit War, of course, if it counts as a fight. As long as you're not a fool, you will know how to lower your posture at this time and take the initiative to please the Straw Hat Pirates. You have already offended the Straw Hat Pirates. If you offend them now, it would be the same as asking for your own death. Looking at Doflamingo's obsequious look, Luffy deliberately said, "Monet, your cadre, must have told you about Punk Hazard." As soon as these words came out, Doflamingo's face changed drastically. However, after a short moment, he quickly put on a smiling face again. Fufurfur, Your Excellency Luffy, please don't get me wrong. It's Monet's own private matter. Do it yourself. It has nothing to do with me. I fought against Lord Luffy in the Summit War. No matter how stupid I am, I can't possibly want to fight against you. Gecko Moria. Hihi. Clown, you look so humble, Sir Crocodile. What a shame. Don Quixote Doflamingo, don't underestimate me. I'm not the kind of person who gives in easily. Fufurfurfur. Chapter 176. The clown is really a clown. Please subscribe. Yeah. Luffy glanced at Doflamingo faintly. You guys are full of bad water. Fufurfur. Your Excellency Luffy, you are so accurate. Doflamingo made a ha-ha and then stretched out his hand to lead in the direction of the palace. The banquet is ready. Your Excellency Luffy, let's go. It's boring to chat outside. Luffy walked towards the palace. Come to the palace banquet hall. The cadres of the Don Quixote family are already here. Obviously, Doflamingo has also made a perfect plan. Once there is any trouble, it is time for the Don Quixote family to go all out. Your Excellency Luffy, please take your seat. Doflamingo directly invites Luffy to sit where the master should sit. Luffy was not polite, of course, and just went over. Fufurfurfur, everyone please sit down. The banquet will begin. Doflamingo gestured to Buggy and others, then clapped his hands. Soon, a large number of maidservants came up with delicious food. Luffy is welcome too. Just gobble up. Looking at how delicious Luffy's food is, Doflamingo didn't dare to bother and kept letting the maidservants serve meat. I didn't stop until Luffy burped from eating Uncle. At this moment, a little lowly with a golden crown came from the side hall next to it and ran toward Doflamingo, its sugar. Seeing the sugar coming, Doflamingo hugged the sugar like a kind Uncle Guillaume. Huh? Isn't this the one with the childlike fruit ability? I saw the fruit ability of Sato in the white frame video just now. So now everyone knows that she is a childish fruit ability, Gecko Moria. It seems that this guy Doflamingo is still not safe. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Let me just say it. How could I be the one to give up so easily? The red Luffy over there is indeed very strong. But no matter how strong he is just as useless in front of Tung Siu Fruit now. 09, Sir Crocodile. You over there should be trying to die. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Really? Let's see, then Doflamingo is still very confident about the power of Tung Siu Fruit. It's so cute. Chopper cheered when he saw the appearance of Granos. Sanji's eyes shine even more. What a beautiful little sister. Your Excellency Luffy, I'm making you laugh. This is my niece, Granos. The servant must have not looked after her, and she came here to play. Doflamingo hugged the sugar and apologized to Luffy. Big brother. I want big brother. At this time, Granos looked at Luffy, and Kong stretched out his hands, making a gesture to hug Luffy. Don't make trouble, little sugar. That's our honored guest. I can't hug you casually. Doflamingo made a gesture as if he wanted to punish the sugar. Luffy smiled. You let her come over this. Doflamingo looked a little hesitant. Luffy smiled slightly. It's okay. I really like children, all right. Doflamingo put down the sugar and immediately ran to Luffy with open hands. For such a child, several members of the Straw Hat Pirates released Observation Haki, but they did not find any problems. It seems that this is an ordinary child. However, under Luffy's listening to the voice of all things, Luffy heard a vicious smirk and a mocking voice from Sasuke's two hands. Obviously, there's a big problem with these two hands. Boom! Santang was hit by Luffy's Conqueror's Haki's single-target attack about 2 meters away from Luffy. She simply rolled her eyes and passed out directly mouth oops. Seeing this scene, Doflamingo suddenly became anxious. Once the sugar faints, those people who were turned into toys by the sugar will all turn back. The memories of these toys in other people's minds will also come back. DC. In this way, some of the things he did in Dressalo's will be known to the public. The cadres of the surrounding Don Quixote family all pulled out their weapons at once and made a gesture of preparing to attack D. I don't even want to live anymore, do I? Buggy snorted coldly and slapped the ground with his palm. Suddenly, all the floor tiles flew up and then instantly cracked into powder. The next moment, these powders directly formed dozens of flying blades, pointing coldly at those cadres. Lord Luffy, what are you doing? She's still a child. Doflamingo still had a little bit of luck at this time. He slapped his thighs with both hands, as if complaining that he hadn't fulfilled his uncle's duty. So he hurried over to pick up the sugar, however. At the next moment, Luffy's Conqueror's Haki is instantly released to the audience. Except for Doflamingo, all members of the Don Quixote family present were stunned to the ground. Although Doflamingo was not intimidated by Conqueror's Haki, he didn't dare to move now. He stopped in his tracks, looked at Luffy, and continued to pretend. Your Excellency Luffy, why are you doing this? Did I not fulfill the friendship of the landlord? If you have any dissatisfaction with me, you can just say. Luffy stretched out his big hand, enlarged and stretched it directly, wrapped Doflamingo's head in one hand, pulled him to the front, and pressed his head to the ground. Do you really think I'm a fool? Luffy let go of his hand and stepped on the back of Doflamingo's head with his foot, making Doflamingo's face buried on the floor. Gecko Moria. Black hee. What's going on, clown? Why do you put your face on the ground? It's hard to breathe, Shiki. Ha. You little guy, your words can hurt you, Charlotte Perispero. I know this trick. This trick is called suicide, right? Lick, Sir Crocodile. As I said just now, the clown is trying to die. I don't even look at how strong the red Luffy is, but he still dares to stop him. If you don't want to die, you won't die, Don Quixote Doflamingo. Outrageous. How did he know about the fruit information of Granos? Who leaked the fruit ability of Granos? GOLD Roger. It's not necessarily that the red Luffy knows the fruit ability of the sugar, but because he has awakened to listen to the voice of all things. If your little cadre wants to do bad things to him, he can hear it. Don Quixote, Doflamingo, Nani, is listening to the voice of all things so changed? Then all the conspiracies and tricks are just clouds in front of the red Luffy. Silver Rayleigh. That's right. If you want to beat him, you have to beat him upright. Just like Captain Roger. No matter what bad ideas you have, you can't count on Captain Roger. Don Quixote, Doflamingo. After listening to Roger and Rayleigh's explanation, Doflamingo completely understood he over there in front of Luffy is really a complete clown. Ding! Enter the prize-winning answering session. At this moment, a question appeared on the screen. Question: what will happen to Doflamingo? A. My head was stepped on by the red Luffy, and the watermelon exploded. B. Handed over to King Liku by red Luffy, who will be publicly executed by Lakuch. C. Taken away by Marine, put into deep-sea prison. D. Take the opportunity to slip away and lead the cadres of the Don Quixote family to live in exile. E. Continue to stay in Dressrosa and be king. At this moment, a question appeared on the big screen. Quinn. Wow, I think this A is very suitable. I will choose A. Jack. That's right, option A is really cool. I choose it too. Crane. Not necessarily. Just kill Doflamingo right now. This is not in line with Red Luffy's character Jaji. Grandma Crane is right. If Red Luffy wanted to kill Doflamingo directly, he would have done it before he entered weightlifting. Now, there is obviously something to talk about. Flying Squirrel. Then I'll choose one. Choose B. G. Indeed, option B is very similar to how he threw Crocodile's head on the ground in Alabasta before. I also choose B. J. Galucius Satan Sin. Pick B. GOLD Roger. Old Man Satan, why are you so active? The number of questions that other old men have not answered together is too many. J. Galucius Satan Sin. FG or DK? Topman Vochely ST. Choose E. Makas Mazin. I'll choose A. Sakazuki. I choose C. Kazan. Choose E. Polisano. Woo. What did you two choose? Isn't it clear that you will die? It's so scary, Kazan. I feel that he is possible. Just now, Red Luffy visited those civilians living in Dressrosa, and I feel that what those civilians said should affect him. Usopp. The analysis makes sense. I choose E. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Choose D. Gecko Moria. Hey, Sir Crocodile. I think B is possible, but it's full, so forget it. Countdown to answer the question. With the end of the countdown to the answer, the red frame video continued to play. Luffy kicks Doflamingo's the head, is stepped on the floor, and the powerful Conqueror's Haki instantly envelopes Doflamingo like a torrential flood. Under the pressure of the unbearable Conqueror's Haki, Don Quixote's thoughts of violent resistance were suddenly suppressed. The only thing left is panic and surrender. What kind of fruit ability is that sugar? Tell me. Luffy rubbed the sole of his shoe a few times, then kicked Doflamingo's head out. His head and body spun a few times together, and then stopped. One of Buggy's hands flew out, grabbed Doflamingo's hair, and lifted him up. Sunglasses are also crooked to the side. You only have one chance to tell the truth. Looking at Doflamingo being brought to him again by Buggy's palm, Luffy looked into Doflamingo's eyes and spoke calmly. It's the fruit of childhood fun. Feeling that life is threatened by death. Even the cynical Doflamingo has no arrogance at this time. So quickly answer Luffy obediently one. Although Doflamingo is not a guy who is afraid of death. But there is a difference between death and death. If he was defeated after 357 battles with his old enemy, then Doflamingo would never beg for mercy. However, in the face of this situation, Doflamingo will never be reconciled if he dies in the hands of Luffy in a daze. He is a celestial dragon who has lost the so-called God's halo, so he has great resentment towards the celestial dragon. His greatest wish in this life is to remove the celestial dragon from the altar T. Before this wish is fulfilled, Doflamingo doesn't want to just die like this. He's afraid of Luffy now. just as much as he is afraid. Because Kaido is a complete lunatic, if Doflamingo dares to disobey Kaido, then Kaido will really kill Doflamingo. Children's fun fruit Nami opened the Devil Fruit illustration book, looked it up, and then read Children's Fruit. The moment the eater eats the spring fruit, the growth and development of the body will stop. Oh, so that means that child is not actually a child, but a child's body wrapped in the soul of an adult. Luffy glanced at Sasuke and then looked at Doflamingo. Doflamingo did not dare to hide anything and replied, yes. Her real age is 22 years old. In addition, she and Mo's son are biological sisters. Monet? Luffy raised his eyebrows, and after thinking about it, he got angry. That's the woman who activated the self-destruct device at Punk Hazard. At this time, Nami continued, the ability user of Tongsu fruit is very heaven-defying. As long as it is touched by his hand, it will become a toy, and about his whole life in this world, all memories will be erased from other people's minds. Hearing this, Usopp opened his mouth in shock. Everyone's memory about him will disappear. Isn't that more terrifying than death? Not only that, the capable person will also make a contract with the toy so that these toys cannot act freely according to their own thoughts, but can only obey the order of the capable person. Although these toys have their own consciousness, emotions, and memories during their lifetime, but they're like being locked in the cage of the small body of the toy and will never be known to outsiders. Nami read this, and the color of horror can't help but appear on her pink cheeks. Wow, it's scary. Chopper drilled into Usopp. Buggy also changed his face slightly. This is really a devil fruit with the ability of heaven-defying. If Luffy was touched by her just now, wouldn't we just forget about Luffy 3? Doflamingo truthfully replied, it should be. Luffy nodded slightly, then looked at Doflamingo. So, we saw those who played the role of cleaners on the street of Dressrosa before character toys, as well as those toys that take the initiative to help pedestrians carry boxes and children, are actually from this country. Chapter 177 Dover. 2 years. Do you know how our family got here in the past 2 years? Please subscribe. Doflamingo replied, yes. Any toys you see in Dressrosa are human-shaped. Most of them are actually pirates who want to make trouble in Dressrosa, and a small number of them are people who oppose me. Nami's beautiful eyes narrowed and immediately asked, could it be that these people will always be just toys? Can't they change back? Doflamingo shook his head. That's not true. If the Tongsu fruit ability user dies or faints or loses consciousness, all the toys will turn back into humans. All the memories about them in this world will also come back into the minds of others. He pointed at the sugar. Like now, the sugar is stunned by Lord Luffy's Conqueror's Haki. Then all the toys in Dressrosa have turned back into adults. Now, the factory is probably in chaos. Almost all the toy workers in the factory are transformed by pirates. It is estimated that they have already started rushing out of the factory at this moment. One Doflamingo is terrified when he thinks that his artificial devil fruit factory is going to be completely messed up, because if the man-made devil fruit cannot be supplied to Kaido in time, it will be settled with Doflamingo. Luffy thinks differently from him. What Luffy considers is that since those pirates have all turned back to humans, they will definitely vent their grievances accumulated in their hearts over the years. The unlucky ones must be the civilians of Dressrosa, and they will become these pirates their venting bucket. Thinking of this, Luffy said to Doflamingo, go and get rid of those out-of-control pirates first. Get rid of all this, and then come to see me. As soon as these words came out, Buggy's palm immediately let go of Flamingo's hair, causing him to fall to the ground again. Good. Doflamingo doesn't know why Luffy gave him time to do this, but he doesn't have time to think about it at this time. If he can survive, then this factory must be preserved otherwise. Even if Luffy doesn't kill him, Kaido will kill him. Thinking of this, Doflamingo rushed away. After Doflamingo left, Nami asked, a little puzzled, Luffy, the Doflamingo family controls the entire Dressrosa with this method. Don't we want to eliminate harm for the people? As a poor person who suffered from pirates in his childhood, Nami hates such pirates. Luffy pondered for a while, with a hesitant expression on his face, and then sighed. Whether to kill him or not, wait for him to come back later. Let's see how he chooses. Seeing this, Buggy said, Luffy, you don't seem to want to kill him? In Buggy's opinion, if it was 2 years ago, Luffy would definitely kill a pirate like Doflamingo immediately. Now he hesitates, so Buggy feels very confused. Luffy thought for a while. You looked at the other 4 partners. Do you think this Doflamingo should be killed? It's time to kill, Nami said immediately. Usopp also said. Trafalgar Law also said that Doflamingo was so ruthless that even his brother was killed without hesitation. He used the fruit of childishness to control the country. It really deserves it. Chopper blinked and didn't speak. Buggy said, I don't want to influence your thoughts. If you think you should kill him, then he should kill him. If you think you shouldn't kill him, then he shouldn't kill him. One Luffy rubbed the old stewed chicken leg in his hand and said slowly, yes, this guy really deserves to be killed, but killing him, is it really the most correct way? It has been more than 5 years since Luffy went to sea. There are too many things I experienced during the period. From the 14-year-old boy at the beginning, he has now become a young man who is almost 20 years old. It is undeniable that Luffy is still carrying out his original ideal, which is to travel around the world and become stronger through experience. But people will always grow. For looking at things, Luffy's values have not changed, but he is considered more than before. When I was playing Dressrosa during the day, what do you think of the civilian life in Dressrosa? Luffy looked at the 4 partners calmly and asked. Nami thought for a moment, then pouted and nodded. They're living happily. Usopp also nodded. Yes, this is the happiest country I have ever seen. Luffy sighed slightly. Yeah, I don't really like the theory of consequence, but I also asked many local people during the day. Their former king was a kind person, but the whole of the country's economic development level is very low, and the people's life is far worse than it is now. Wait, Luffy, you may have misunderstood. Trafalgar Law said that Doflamingo has been engaged in the arms trade in the world, and several surrounding countries have fallen into war because of him. Dressrosa is rich, but building on the pain of several other countries. Finding that Luffy seemed to be talking to Doflamingo, Nami hurriedly reminded. Luffy smiled. Of course I have considered what you said. However, you're only half right. Think about it. When King Liku was in power, he often raised funds. What does it mean to help the countries around you that are caught in war? Nami tilted his head and looked up at Luffy. Does that mean King Riku is a good man? Luffy said dumbfoundedly. Yeah, he's a good man, but you missed my point. The point I want to express is that King Liku did not conduct arms trade before, and these neighboring countries often fell into is at war. That makes sense. Chopper's eyes lit up, and he looked at Luffy adoringly. Even, not only the neighboring countries, if you reason normally, the former Dressrosa should have often been caught in wars. Doflamingo deserves to die, but if some charges are forced on him, it's meaningless. Doflamingo is a talent. A person like him, even if he uses his ingenuity on the wrong path, he has already allowed the people of his country to live a life of wealth that they have never imagined for hundreds of years. If he can use his ingenuity on the right path, isn't it a perfect template for a king? Luffy expresses her opinion. Quinn. Hey. Damn it. Luffy won't let the clown over there survive? Jack. Then the answer we chose is wrong. Quinn, it's all your fault, you idiot. You insist on choosing the same one as me. Flying Squirrel. If Red Luffy doesn't kill Doflamingo, then the answer to this question is only D, impossible. Crane. Judging from the current situation, the possibility of E is very high. But we can't make a conclusion. Red Luffy said that it depends on how Doflamingo chooses. Maybe Doflamingo didn't choose well. It is also possible to be killed by Red Luffy of Kazan. If it's E, then I've chosen the right one. Usopp and me. I've already deducted my life twice, so it's time for me to do it again. By the time Doflamingo came back, the chaos at the factory had been quelled. After all, he is a man with Conqueror's Haki. Facing those ordinary pirates, Doflamingo's deterrence of a Conqueror's Haki directly overwhelmed 90%, and then he warmed up a little bit, and the remaining pirates were all got it done. Order the guards of the Don Quixote family on the factory side to catch the pirates first. And Doflamingo hurried back. As for the toys in Dressrosa, Doflamingo can't manage them for the time being. However, those people are all locals of Dressrosa, mainly those who oppose Doflamingo. The destructive power of these people is far less than that of pirates, so it's okay to ignore them for the time being. Also, the first thing these people have to do when they turn back into human beings is to go home and complain to their family members. How can they have time to destroy them? Nailed it. Seeing Doflamingo coming back, Luffy asked lightly. Yes, Your Excellency, Luffy. Doflamingo is standing in front of the hall. In front of Luffy, he doesn't even have the idea of running away. He looked at Luffy. Lord Luffy, what do you want to do with me? Luffy said, on the way here, we met a pirate named Trafalgar Law. He told us that you were so cruel that you even killed your own father and brother. Is there something wrong? As soon as this remark came out, it seemed to offend Doflamingo's taboo. His eyes suddenly turned red, and his emotions exploded at once. Buggy frowned. His palm flew over in an instant snapped. With a slap, Doflamingo slaps and becomes an obedient chick Gecko Moria. Hey, hee hee. This is so comedic, Charlotte Cracker. 1 second I thought he was going to fight the red Luffy, but the next second I was intimidated. Ha ha. Shiki. This guy. I'm dying of laughter. Gee ha ha ha. Quinn. Stupid clown. You should be tougher. Wouldn't the red Luffy kill you in a rage? Jack. That's right. The sand forced the clown. Don't take the initiative to die. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Quinn, Jack, you two bastards. Are you used to being domineering over the head of the king before? See the reality clearly. The king is not afraid of Kaido at all now. You two bastards will kill you sooner or later. Quinn, damn it, I got the reward from the viewing system. Watch what you can. Jack, don't let me meet you. If I do, I'll make you kneel down and beg for mercy. Call. Doflamingo's chest was deeply heaved. His eyes were red. He looked at Luffy again and said with trembling corners of his mouth, do you know? He pointed to his chest heavily with his hand. I was born in Mariewa, and I was born to be a master. With a background like mine, I could have lived a life without worrying about food and clothing and doing whatever I wanted for the rest of my life. But when I was 8 years old, I kissed that idiot who developed a whim, wanted to give up the identity of Tianlong, left Mariewa, and went to ordinary people 2 years. Doflamingo raised 2 fingers. During the 2 years since we left Mariewa, you know what happened to our family in those 2 years? Are you here? Quinn straight-faced nanny? The clown was born as a draconian? Gecko Moria. No way. There's such a thing. Joker, is this true? Sir Crocodile. This is really an incredible thing. Charlotte Linlin. It really surprised me. The clown is actually a celestial dragon. Kaido. Dragon people voluntarily give up their identity as Mariewa and live the lives of ordinary people. It's outrageous, Edward Newgate. Is this true? Sengoku, you should know something inside. Sengoku, know why I'm telling you. Don Quixote Doflamingo, don't guess, it's true. If it wasn't for the viewing system, I don't want this bad memory to be known. Damn it, there was no self-report about Doflamingo's life experience in the white frame video before, so the viewers don't know the identity of Doflamingo Tianlong now that they heard such a shocking news. Everyone was shocked. At the same time, I am also amazed at Doflamingo's father, who voluntarily gave up his identity as a Tianlong man. What an exaggeration. Tell me about it. Luffy is almost full, grabs a handful of melon seeds, and slowly nibbles. My father, who has lived in Mariewa for 40 years, has never suffered any suffering. He naively thinks that the world is full of good people. My mother chose to mess around with him. But how old were my brother and I at that time? Did they give me and my brother a chance to choose? They want to live a hard life. Do my brother, and I think about it. I'll tell you the truth. At first we could still live among ordinary people, but because I yelled at the people around me in the habit of celestial dragons, our lives completely became hell. Doflamingo is very excited. The veins on his neck are showing mouth, etc. Nami interrupted suddenly. So, You could have lived as ordinary people, but because you still retain the habits of Tianlong people, so your Tianlong Wang's body, your identity was exposed, and then you were retaliated by others, right? This is actually good, Zhao, that you have harmed your family. Hearing what Nami said, Doflamingo laughed. He looked at Nami. Honorable Ms. Nami, at that time, I was only 8 years old. I was only 8 years old. Isn't my living habit cultivated by my Tianlong family? Do you expect an 8-year-old child to have his living environment suddenly turn upside down? After repeated changes, can you adapt immediately? My father and mother, they are adults. Of course, they know how to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. My brother Razanani, he was only 5 years old at the time. He didn't understand this. Only me, from a Tianlong person to an ordinary person suddenly. Not only do you not even have a right to choose, but also no one taught me not to expose the identity of a Tianlong person. I want to ask, whose fault is this? Me? Is it my fault? Point Gecko Moria. Hiss. To be honest, from this point of view, Doflamingo's fate is really miserable. Moria couldn't help but sigh with emotion at this fate, subconsciously no longer called him a clown, but instead called him a minister. Nami, hey, indeed. Doflamingo doesn't even have the right to choose. Capone Beach. Even if he exposed their Tianlong identity, but after thinking about it carefully, it seems that this is not his fault. Shiki, it's obvious that idiot his father is so naive. Without any preparation, he made such a ridiculous decision, and then let the whole family worry about him. What an idiot to pay the bill. Don Quixote Rosie Randy. Doflamingo. Don Quixote Doflamingo. My stupid brother. Do you feel sorry for me? Fufurfur. Chapter 178 Dressrosa Election. The living legend appears. Please subscribe. Listening to Doflamingo's questioning, Luffy said lightly, "Go on. I want to hear why you hurt your biological father and siblings. You know, during the 2 years of hell that our family spent, we were driven and beaten by everyone like wild dogs. I never thought that my life would become like that. The thing I do the most every day is to take my brother to look for food in the trash dump. My mother, she has lived in Mariewa for more than 30 years. How could she bear such a life? Not long after, she got sick and died from eating moldy food. And my father, he finally understood how ridiculous his original decision was. He called Mariewa and wanted to be a revolving heaven dragon man again. But Mariewa refused. I admit, my father is a good man in the eyes of others. But as the head of the family, he brought great disaster to our family. In the end, he wanted to turn back, but was rejected, so he could only cry over his mother's body. 1. The fate of my brother, and I was also ruined by him. I hate him. I hate his stupidity. I don't want my brother and I to continue to live that kind of wild dog life. So I killed him and brought his head back to Mariewa, hoping that Mariewa can accept me again. But in the end, we were still rejected, just because of my father's whim. I lost my mother. I lost my happy life. I hate him. Can I? The veins on Doflamingo's neck swelled, and he gritted his teeth vigorously and said. Buggy and the others fell silent after listening. Luffy shook his head slightly. What you said makes sense, but it's not entirely true. At least, your original Tianlong identity is also thanks to your father. But your father's thinking is indeed like a child who grew up in a greenhouse. It's too naive. Your reason for killing your father is actually valid. But if it wasn't your father, there's nothing wrong with you doing it. But it was your father after all. You mentioned just now that in those 2 years in this hellish life, your father is protecting you two brothers no matter what. I think a smart person like you should not be ignorant of your father's love for you and your brother, but you deliberately used your hatred for him to drive these things out of your heart so that you won't be attacked by guilt. Doflamingo, I just want to ask you, have you never felt guilty about your father? Luffy asked in a low voice. Don Quixote Rosie Randy. Doflamingo, have you ever? Don Quixote Doffrin 177 Mingo. Fufurfur. Crane. A person like a clown should not have any guilt. Trafalgar Law. He's a lion majesty through and through. Are you guilty? Listening to Luffy's questioning, the corners of Doflamingo's mouth twitched slightly after a while. He laughed at himself. Yes, but not much. I hate him even more." Luffy was non-committal, and after a moment of silence, he spoke again. "Then what about your brother? Isn't he dependent on you? Why did you kill him? Since Luo told you that I killed Razanani, didn't he say the reason?" Doflamingo frowned. Luffy pouted. "I said it, but I still want to hear your version." Hearing this, Doflamingo laughed bitterly. "Speaking of which, since I left Mariewa, so far the most painful thing for me is my brother's thing. You still kill him in pain? Isn't this the crocodile's tears?" Nami disagrees with Doflamingo's words. "No, my pain is not that I killed him, but when I heard him admit that he is an undercover agent sent by Marine, that is my pain. Do you know? After coming down from Mariewa for the second time, my brother and I got separated. I have been looking for him since then, until one day, he took the initiative to find me. Originally, I thought my dearest person in this world is back, but I never thought that he would appear by my side just to kill me. He may have forgotten that when we were in exile, even if I picked up half a piece of moldy bread in the garbage dump, I would break the other half and give it to him. Damn it, I don't know who picked up the Razanani, who got separated from me. This guy is really damned. He is the one who directed this big scene of our brothers turning against each other. These hypocritical Marines, when they recruited us to become the 7 warlords of the sea, how could they not know the virtues of our pirate group? They used our Shichibukai to do things for them, and then wanted to get rid of them secretly, yes. Haha, one thing on the outside, one thing on the back, and even sent my own brother as an undercover agent. It is simply despicable and shameless. Your Excellency Luffy, I don't know why you want to ask these questions, but I can tell you clearly. Killing my father, I felt guilty afterwards, but killing my brother, I can only say that he failed his brother's love for him, and he deserves to die." Doflamingo is panting deeply, with anger in his eyes. "Tes anker is actually not for Rosenant, but for Tamarin behind Rosenant is city. GOLD, Roger. Isn't it? Smoky stuff. Bah, Charlotte Linlin. I'm so angry when I see it. You want to use 7 warlords of the sea to do dirty things, and at the same time collect evidence of Shichibukai's crimes. What kind of idiot operation is this? Charlotte Katakuri. If Marine wanted to destroy the 7 warlords of the sea, why didn't they destroy them when they were pirates? Instead, they recruited them to do things and secretly engaged in small tricks. This kind of despicable and shameless things, I'm afraid only Marine can do them. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fufurfur. The most ridiculous thing is that it was the dignified Marine Marshal Sengoku who did this. If it weren't for this viewing system, I would still be in the dark. I have a crush on you, Marine. Sengoku. Doflamingo. Don't you deserve to die for an evil person like you who killed your father and brother? Razanani has the correct outlook on life. He wants to destroy an evil person like you. What's wrong? Sir Crocodile. Come on, Sengoku can use us, but treat us like idiots. Gecko Moria. I can see it. Those of us who are the 7 warlords of the sea are sand bullies. While doing things for Marine, we are being tricked by Marine. If we die in Marine's hands, not only will Marine not have anything to us mercilessly, and the pirates will treat us as a joke. Boa Hancock. Speaking of which, the reason why this king became the 7 warlords of the sea is because Marine threatened the lives of the entire 9 Snake Island citizens. If this king doesn't agree, they will use Buster Call to bomb the 9 Snake Island. Rox D. Zebek. This horse riding is indeed something Marine can do. Kazuki Odin. Doflamingo, Moria, Hancock Crocodile, you 7 warlords of the sea are being treated like idiots by Marine. Since you are all in naval headquarters, when the viewing system ends later, come and do it with us, Marine. Sora. Kazuki Odin. Stop fooling around here. Joel D. Roger. The old dog is in a hurry again. Shiki. Jahahaha. Luffy finished eating the melon seeds in his hand and looked at Doflamingo calmly. Doflamingo, let me ask you, do you want to die or live? Fufurfur, would anyone not want to live? Doflamingo laughed. He looked at Luffy. Your Excellency Luffy, I, Doflamingo, am not an idiot. Just say the conditions. Well, It's easy to talk to smart people. I can let you continue to live, and I can also let you continue to be the king of this country. As for the conditions, listen carefully. First, your arms can be sold to the king's army in the surrounding countries, but you are never allowed to sell them to pirates. Second, the free labor produced by the fruit of childlike interest. You can continue to use this method, but it is only allowed to be used on those who are really guilty. Third, I want you to announce to the public, Aji, the fact that you framed the royal family of Liku back then. Then organize an election vote between you and King Liku. And the people of Dressrosa will make a choice on the basis of knowing the truth. Is it you who will be the king or the power to be the king? If you still get more votes in the end, then you will continue to be the king of this country. Luffy expressed a request. Doflamingo was silent for a moment, then asked, what if the king of power gets more votes? Luffy has a harmless smile on his face, and the corner of his mouth slightly outlines a smile. If King Liku gets more votes, then I will kill you and your Don Quixote family. In Luffy's opinion, Doflamingo is indeed a talent. If he can accept the correct constraints, then he is definitely a material suitable for being a king. But Luffy never thinks that he can easily make decisions for the people of a country. People like Doflamingo, who are both guilty and meritorious, should die or continue to be kings, will let the common people of Dressrosa decide. After all, no matter how much Luffy inquires, it is impossible to understand the thoughts of all the people of Dressrosa. If he is dictatorial and arbitrarily assigns the future of this country to Doflamingo, it will be unfair to the Riku royal family. So, let the civilians of Dressrosa choose for themselves. After listening to Luffy's words, Doflamingo smiled wryly. Is there any other choice? Yes. Luffy nodded, and the powerful Conqueror's Haki was released instantly, forming a terrifying coercion, instantly making Doflamingo unable to stand still and directly kneeling on the ground. -1, he stood up and walked to Doflamingo slowly. He is standing. Doflamingo is kneeling. The eyes of the two are exactly on the same horizontal line. Luffy's eyes were sharp, and he asked, are you sure you want to make another choice? Fufurfur, no need. Doflamingo is not a fool. Of course, he immediately understood what Luffy meant. If you don't follow Luffy's wishes, then the Don Quixote family will be destroyed and turned into the dust of history without waiting until the voting is over. Jewelry Polly, I thought the red Luffy over there would spare Doflamingo. I didn't expect to leave Doflamingo's life and death to the people of Dressrosa. Nami, it's good that the red Luffy over there is obviously more comprehensive than what he thought 2 years ago. Nico Robin, yeah, red Luffy provides a level playing field for the people of Dressrosa to choose for themselves, which is indeed in the best interest of Dressrosa decision. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fufurfur. Interesting. I also want to see, under such a voting choice, whether I continue to be this, is it a king, or is it King Liku coming out of the rivers and lakes again? Riku, dude, 3. Doflamingo, stop dreaming. The people of Dressrosa don't need a tyrant like you. Emporio Ivankov. Tyrant? Not so. Although Doflamingo Boy is not a good guy. But he has nothing to do with the tyrant 3 days later. The square in front of King's Heights was crowded with people. There are at least 200,000 people gathered here. According to the publicity in the past few days, one voter from each household will come to the King's Square to select the next principality. On the front platform of King's Heights, the Don Quixote family headed by Doflamingo stands in the left square. The royal family of Liku, headed by King Liku, stand in the square formation on the right. There are a lot of people below God. King Liku, Doflamingo, Doflamingo. The respective supporters have already started to compete with each other who can shout louder. At this moment, a terrifying coercion instantly swept the audience. It seems as if the 9 heavens were crushed in an instant, making everyone breathless. Luffy stands at the front. Behind him are the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates. D. Shirahoshi is also among them, looking at the scene below excitedly. Wow, this is the first time I've seen so many people. Little Shirahoshi wagging his tail back and forth. So excited Nami covered her mouth and smiled. Hee hee. So are we at this time? Luffy spoke. Dressrosa folks, I'm Monkey D. Luffy, I think you all know me, right? Luffy's voice spread out with Conqueror's Haki and fell into everyone's ears, directly shaking their souls. Luffy. My God, he's a Straw Hat Luffy, the guy who killed the 5 elders. It is said that his strength is extremely powerful. Even if the 4 emperors are in front of him, they can only be leaped softly by him. In this world, everyone has the habit of reading newspapers. What's more, in a rich country like Dressrosa, almost everyone reads newspapers, and the biggest news that happened in the past 2 years is the Summit War. The boy who turned 5 elders into a 4-star star has become a living legend. On this sea, if you don't know the name of 4 emperors, maybe it's understandable, but if you don't know the name of Monkey D. Luffy, then you are too funny. At this time, as the big screen on King's Heights shows a close-up of Luffy, everyone can clearly see the appearance of the sunny boy under the straw hat. It's him. It's really him. Chapter 179, Flame Dragon Slaying Magic. Which is stronger, flame or magma? Please subscribe. People of Dressrosa, I am standing here today to give you a fair and just voting environment. No one can interfere with your voting. Just now, Doflamingo has already explained to you how he framed King Liku back then. The final result of this vote will choose your new king. You don't have to worry about being retaliated by anyone. If King Liku loses the election, he doesn't have the strength to retaliate. If Doflamingo loses the election, I will kill him and the Don Quixote family. Also, I have communicated clearly with both of them, and the party that won the election is not allowed to retaliate against any voters. Otherwise, I, Monkey D. Luffy, swear here I will kill myself. In short, you don't need to have any psychological burden. Write the name of the person you most want to be the king of Dressrosa in your palms. Now, start the canvassing session. The candidates from both sides will appear on the stage one by one to give speeches to canvass votes. 1. When Luffy's words fell into everyone's ears, everyone thought it was fair. With Luffy's guarantee, the people of Dressrosa will have no worries when they choose. 2 minutes later, the canvassing session begins. By flipping a coin, Calendar Library comes, Dear people, for hundreds of years, our Liku royal family has been dedicated to this country. The disaster 10 years ago, just now Doflamingo has admitted that he did it all. This vicious person, in order to make himself the king of Dressrosa, even killed innocent people by framing this king, so as to achieve his evil purpose. If such a person continues to be the king of Dressrosa, the future of Dressrosa will be dark. King Liku's speech is like reading Doflamingo's book, sonorous and powerful, with passionate emotions. For King Liku's speech, Luffy understands very well the royal family has been oppressed by Doflamingo for 10 years, and now they have a chance to stand up. Of course, they must clear up Doflamingo's crimes to them. Doflamingo is a hard-to-read BD. Half an hour later, Doflamingo came to the front of the platform with a 28-step that no relatives would recognize. Fufurfur. The iconic laughter opens. I'm guilty. People of Dressrosa, I admit to the crimes mentioned by King Liku just now. I don't want to defend myself. I just want to say that if I continue to be the king of Dressrosa, I will resolutely implement the policy. First, I will continue to devote myself to the development of the country's economy, because the people of Dressrosa seek happiness. Second, all the cadres of the Don Quixote family, including myself, will do regular volunteer work every week to help the people. Thirdly, I will establish a nationwide nursing home. All civilians in Dressrosa who are over 60 years old can live in the nursing home and get food and accommodation for free. As for the nurses and service personnel in the nursing home, all the nurses and service personnel will be provided by toys that will not be lazy. People are in charge, so the elderly here don't have to worry about the nurses and service staff messing around. Fourth, I know that everyone is a little afraid of the ability of Tongsu Fruit, but Lord Luffy has let go. I will never dare to mess around, and I will formulate the rules for using Tongsu Fruit. Only for those who commit crimes with the pirates who want to attack Dressrosa. The group will use the child's fruit ability. Every criminal who will be punished by Tongtsu fruit will be publicly held in this square, and no toy criminal archives will be set up in this square before any toy criminal serves his sentence. All his files will be recorded in the book. Everyone in Dressrosa can come and check it out. After serving his sentence, any criminal will return to his identity as a human being for the chance of redemption. Fifth, I think that with a king like me in Dressrosa, at least everyone will not be troubled by war. Any war against Dressrosa will be rejected by our Don Quixote family. Okay, I don't want to say anything else. If I still have the opportunity to continue to be the king of Dressrosa, then I will slowly consider if the construction of Dressrosa will be more $300. After the speech, Doflamingo retreated Gecko Moria. Hey hee hee hee. This speech by Doflamingo, the desire to survive, is very strong, Sir Crocodile. If his desire to survive is not strong, he will really die. Can he not be strong? Nefertali Cobra. If that childlike fruit is used on the right path, it is really a very good devil fruit. Nico Robin. Indeed, using toy contracts instead of going to prison to punish prisoners can not only save the financial resources of building prisons and hiring jailers, but also provide a lot of free labor for the whole country. Nami, yeah. The key is that these labor forces are 100% obedient to the arrangement. It's just perfect. Crane. If the nursing home mentioned by Doflamingo is really established, it will indeed be a super good welfare for the elderly in the whole country. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fufurfur. The idea of me over there is really good. I will also build one later anyway if there's a toy labor force. Just build a nursing home. Flying Squirrel. Comparing their speeches, I think Doflamingo has a great chance of winning. Guillaume, yes, I think so too. After the canvassing session is over, it will enter the voting session. The voting process is very simple. Everyone comes with a pen, and they write the name of the king they want to choose on the palm of their hand. 5 minutes later, voting session begins. The people below all held their palms together, came to the platform in front of the king's heights one by one, and aimed the selection in their palms at the live phone bug. Through the live broadcast on the big screen, everyone's choice is clearly presented in front of everyone. Several beauties selected locally by Dressrosa will serve as ticket tellers and registration staff. As time goes by, the big screen clearly shows the changes in the votes of both parties. From morning to evening, the vote calling session is finally over. The maximum number of votes from both sides is fixed at 125,444 votes to 77,313. Doflamingo wins. Riku Dolder 3. What? How could Doflamingo win? Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fufurfur. Why can't I be the winning pair? Green Pepper. Dolder. Your speech skills are really bad. You have to know, those civilians don't like to hear you talking about your tragic experience, and Doflamingo instead. Doflamingo's speech was straight to the point and let the people see what they want. Marco. Actually, ordinary civilians don't care who their king is. All they care about is who can bring them a happy life. Blenheim. Yes, the things Doflamingo said in his speech are indeed more attractive to the people. Moreover, with the reputation of Red Luffy as a guarantee, the civilians in Dressrosa naturally believe that Doflamingo dare not fool them. Quinn, I didn't expect that. After a long time, the clown is still alive. Stepping on a horse. Kazan. So, I should have chosen the right one this time. Usopp, haha. I chose the right one too. I finally got it right. Ding. Anyone who answers wrongly in this prize quiz will be punished. Quinn. The right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and 17 days of life will be deducted. Jack. The right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and 5 months and 22 days of life will be deducted. Flying Squirrel. Deprive of the right to answer the next round of questions and deduct 5 months of life. In addition, the right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and 19 days of life will be deducted. J. Galicius Satan. The right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and life expectancy will be deducted for 5 months and 5 days. Ding. The top 3 correct answers in this quiz are Kuzan, Usopp, and Topman Vachlishing. Congratulations to the 3. Get rewards. Congratulations to Kazan. You will be rewarded with the Fire Dragon Slayer magic. Congratulations to Usopp. Reward Emperor Island. Modified Romantic Fortress. Run. Congratulations to Saint Topman Vacheli. Reward the natural will snake blood flame. Ding. Because the magic of flame dragon slaying, romantic fort Dogong, and natural will snake blood, flame, are magical things from Otherworld, special remarks are made. Remarks on flame dragon slayer magic. Convert your physique into that of a fire dragon, which can be used to kill dragons with magic. You can eat any flame substance to restore stamina, increase strength, or burst out dragon scales to improve attack and defense. Polyusolino. Nanny? Why isn't your reward the blood succession boundary, or something? Sakazuki. Flame dragon slaying magic. If it is flame, it belongs to the inferior ability of lava fruit. In front of my magma, any flame ability has no possibility of turning over. In the Summit War over the White Frame video before, Sakazuki's lava fruit's restraint effect on Ace has been clearly displayed in front of everyone. Zero. Seeking flowers. Now, Sakazuki is relieved to see that the bonus ability Kazan got is flame or something, although they are both Marine Admirals. In the future, he and Kazan fought for 10 days and 10 nights because of the Marine Admiral, so Sakazuki remembers very clearly, although this incident was exposed in advance. It may not happen again, but this future gap has left traces in the hearts of Sakazuki and Kazan. Edward Newgate. Magma Boy. Are you illiterate? I didn't see the note explaining that this flame dragon slaying magic can eat any flame substance to restore physical strength, increase strength, etc. Do you think about whether your magma is a flame substance, Shiki? Huh? This is interesting. If you can even eat lava, then this little Akainu will have no advantage over the freeze boy. If there is another meta the battle for handsomeness, the result is hard to say. Jia. Rox D. Zebek. Where are the 5 old men? After the Summit War is over, don't let the fun go. Make sure to arrange a martial battle. Let's see, can this fire dragon magic deal with lava fruit? Empty rocks. What are 5 elders going to do? It's not your turn to talk nonsense. Rox D. Zebek. Being a dog is addictive. Gold Roger. Haha. Kong Laugo, what a good dog. Romantic Fort. Dogong. Remarks. The user can convert their own spiritual energy into a bow-shaped taigu that is shot out by shockwaves, and the power will vary according to the degree of crisis the user encounters. The more critical the life and death, the more powerful the romantic fort, Dogong, explodes. The upper limit is not capped. Absolutely increases the power of the weapon in order to remove the restriction, but it will be temporarily unusable due to overheating. Sengoku. Another thing with no upper limit. Seeing this explanation, Sengoku frowned. Suddenly Yasop. Sniper-type things can shoot shock waves through their own mental power. This is simply the perfect weapon for a sniper. Van Oka. Yes. The most important thing is that the more the sniper is in crisis, the stronger the power of this thing will be. This is simply a shameless battle for the strong. OG. Frankie, wow. Usopp, you got a good deal. Brooke, ya ho ho ho. Usopp, when the time comes, I'll be riding a soul chariot with you on my back, and you'll be in charge of sniping. It's so much fun, Usopp. Haha, I love this reward so much. Monkey D. Luffy, when we meet, lend me some fun. Tony Chopper, I want to play too, Usopp. Okay, huh? Natural will Orochi blood flame. Remarks, integrate the natural will of the big snake blood flame. You can get the power of green flame. Gold Roger. What the hell is this natural will snake blood? It is the power of the earth, the power of the wind, the power of thunder and lightning, and now the power of green flame powerful. Why does a snake blood have so many abilities? Kazuki Odin. It seems that a total of 4 old stars have been rewarded, and they are all the blood of a natural will snake. Can you summon some kind of serpent? Shiki. Jiahahaha. You really mean something when you say that. J. Galucius Satan, San. Hee, a bunch of idiots. With Doflamingo winning the election, Luffy fulfilled his promise. Doflamingo continues as king of Dressrosa. King Liku became the lord of a large city in the south of Dressrosa, and the royal family of Liku is equivalent to descending from a royal family to an aristocrat. Under the report of King Liku, Luffy also knew about the fact that the little people were tricked into acting as Yongbailau. After Luffy intervened, the little people returned to the green bit primeval forest and continued to live their fairy legend life. Before leaving Dressrosa, Luffy gave King Liku a phone bug. If Doflamingo does anything that violates the agreement, King Liwu can report to him. This can be regarded as a little constraint on Doflamingo. Of course, Luffy actually understands very well that as long as the Straw Hat Pirates still exist, Doflamingo will not dare to mess around stayed in Dressrosa for a few days. Doflamingo got Luffy a permanent record pointer from Tatoland. Afterwards, 1,000 Miles of Sunshine left Dressrosa and continued to move forward. The red frame screen played here and slowly dimmed. The screen disappears, seeking flowers for subscription. Mountain. Chapter 180. We are also big pirates now. Be more arrogant. Please subscribe. The timeline of the plot about Zephyr may be a little bit off, but because the red Luffy will write about Zephyr, so I have to write the white Luffy. Write down the Zephyr plot next to it. I hope everyone will bear with me if there is anything wrong with it. After all, it is difficult to agree, and a little problem will definitely cause some readers to feel uncomfortable. The screen with white borders gradually brightens up. The screen appears. The Straw Hat Pirates have left Dressrosa. Thousands of miles of sunshine sailing on the sea. A man floated over from the sea Sengoku. Zephyr? What's going on? Why is Zephyr floating in the sea unconscious? Crane, what happened? Monkey D. Garp. Could it be that Zephyr's pirate gorillas encountered some powerful enemy? Zephyr, what a magical fate. I was picked up by Garp's grandson and his party. Wait, Bins and Ein. Zephyr was rescued by the cat pirates on board and woke up soon when Zephyr learned that Luffy and his party were pirates. The two sides immediately fought together. Soon, the ship of Neb Marine will also come to reinforce. The Straw Hat Pirates were defeated. Zephyr had a chance to kill Luffy, but after learning that Luffy is Garp's grandson, he showed mercy. Afterwards, Luffy and his team went to Saiken Island, a famous tourist destination for its hot springs and volcanoes, to inquire about Zephyr on Saiken Island. Luffy and his team met former Marine Admiral Akiji and learned that Zephyr wanted to destroy the New World by blowing up 3 endpoints. Akiji told Luffy and others that in Zephyr's view, it is precisely because of the big secret treasure One Piece that there are so many pirates, 667. So Zephyr wants to destroy New World, destroy One Piece, so as to eliminate all pirates. Subsequently, Akiji Luffy. Do you think One Piece came first or pirates first? However, Luffy laughed. I don't care about that. I'm the man who wants to be One Piece. Luffy's answer made Akiji think deeply. It also made Akiji understand how determined the Straw Hat Boy is to his own ideals and goals. First One Piece. Pirate first? Sorry, what does that have to do with me? I just want to be the One Piece. Afterwards, Zephyr defeated a group of Marines who came to hunt him down and then detonated the installed explosive rock. -1 boom in the sound of the explosion. The volcano on Maken Island was detonated. Thanks to Akiji, everyone on the island was saved. When the Straw Hats chased to the island where the 3rd endpoint was located, they started a battle with Zephyr's team. During the fist-to-body battle, Luffy's persistence and firmness to his dreams made Zephyr gradually wake up. When Zephyr was defeated by Luffy, it seemed that he was defeated by the self who never forgot his original intention. Finally, Marine Admiral Kizaru led people to come and killed him in a wave of 8-foot Kyong Goyu Vice Admiral Zephyr. Monkey D. Garp, what? Zephyr died? Crane, why is this happening? Zephyr. Isn't the answer already given in the video? 7 years ago, the vicious pirate who killed a boatload of my students turned out to be 7 warlords of the sea. Marine. This is Marine, give me the answer. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fufurfur. See? Before recruiting the 7 warlords of the sea. Didn't Marine know what we 7 warlords of the sea have done? Even killed a ship of Marine trainees, even cut off an arm of the former Marine admiral. So what? As long as it is useful to Marine, it can be transformed into 7 warlords of the sea. Fuffer. Gold Roger. Haha, well said. These idiots of Marine, they act and stand up. They think they can fool everyone, but they are just deceiving themselves. Sengoku. Zephyr, recruiting that 7 warlords of the sea is not my job. Sakazuki. That's what I did. According to the situation in the white frame video, Sengoku resigned after Summit War, so it can only be done by Sakazuki. Shiki. It doesn't matter who did it. What's interesting is that the one who killed Zephyr was actually Zephyr's beloved apprentice, Kizura boy, Jiaha. Gold Roger. This reminds me of what the National War said before. If Admiral rebelled, his name will be written upside down. Now look at it. Not only Admiral rebelled, but also apprentices killed teacher. It's getting more and more exciting. Edward Newgate. That's right. Akiji also helped a lot in Zephyr's death. The iceberg blocked Zephyr's back, and Kizuru was 8-foot Kongu. Perfect Marshal Diki. Thief. Perfect Sengoku. Fortunately, there's a movie viewing system, Zephyr. Don't worry. Since this matter has been known to us, I will never allow that pirate to join the Lord Shichibukai. Sengoku. Sakazuki. Did you hear that? Sakazuki. Although I don't know why I promised that guy to become 7 warlords of the sea in the future, but since the consequences are so serious, I will definitely not let that pirate become 7 warlords of the sea. Monkey D. Garp. Zephyr. Old man, don't worry. When the Summit War is over, I will resign and go play with you. And then I will deal with that BD who broke your arm. After the Zephyr incident, the Straw Hat Pirates arrived in Zohir. They found a piece of red history text and learned that Nekabamushi and Duke Inuarashi turn out to be Kazuki Oden's retainers, although Luffy and others reunited with Nami and Chopper. They learned that Sanji had been taken away by Capone Beach, who just joined the Big Mom Pirates. Thus, the Straw Hat Pirates, the Heart Pirates, and the Fur Rays formed an alliance. Everyone is divided into 4 groups and act separately. Luffy, Nami, Chopper, Brook, and Perot and Garrett go to Cake Island to rescue Sanji. In Cake Island, Luffy and his team formed an alliance with Capone Beach to carry out an assassination operation against Big Mom. Assassination failed. The Straw Hat Pirates and the Flame Tank Pirate Xing Xingtian during the period, Luffy and Katakuri fought. Observation Haki broke through during the battle. After countless times of fierce confrontation, both sides suffered losses, but Luffy still got up, barely defeated Kataka Tickets. In the end, with the help of the Murloc Pirates, Luffy and his group managed to escape from Cake Island. Since this battle, Luffy has been called the 5th Emperor of the Sea. The white frame video played here, and the screen slowly dimmed, the screen disappears. Charlotte Linlin. I actually carried out an assassination operation specifically targeting my old lady. Capone Beach, that brat, my old lady remembers you. Shiki. Jiahahaha. Yes, Capone Beach, little guy. You supernova this year is really arrogant. Really, give you a chance, you dare to challenge the 4 emperors. Don Quixote da Flamingo. Fufurfur, isn't that right? Straw Hat Boys have become the 5th Emperor Gecko Moria. Although it is not as good as the Red Luffy. But the Straw Hat Boy here can become the 5th Emperor of the Sea. The future master should not be underestimated. Kaido. Old woman, you are so useless. You actually let these little devils escape from you. If they come to Lousy's territory, they will not leave. Charlotte Linlin. Don't speak sarcastic words. If it wasn't for Germa 66 and the Murloc Pirates, with Capone Beach and the Straw Hat Boys, they wouldn't even be able to escape from my mother's place with wings. Kaido. Then just wait and see. Didn't the Luo Boy and the Straw Hat Boy form an alliance just now? They said they wanted to help the Wanakuni Samurai deal with me together. Wait until Wanakuni and see how they die. Gold Roger. When will Wanakuni's good show start? I bet 100 Baileys. Kaido Kid will be out of Kong Kazuki Oden. That's for sure. Regardless of whether this kind of thing will happen in the 2 videos. But in reality, after the Summit War is over, I will settle accounts with Kaido and beat him out of the shit. Edward Newgate. Google la la la. The screen with red border gradually brightens. The screen appears. After the Straw Hat Pirates left Dressrosa, Luffy held a group meeting. Judging from the information currently available, the three known red historical texts are located in the Big Mom Pirates, Beast Pirates, and Zo respectively. Judging from a nautical chart, Zo's position is uncertain. Except for Zo, the Imma Pirates are closer to the Straw Hat Pirates. So Luffy decided to go to the waters of Tato Land first. Captain, a marine warship is found ahead. Do you need to dive to go around it? Suddenly, Jiwei's report voice came from the broadcasting system. After hearing this, everyone quickly came to the deck and looked forward. Sure enough, there are a large number of warships driving sideways on the sea ahead. If the 1,000 miles of sunshine continues to travel on its original route at this speed, it will meet the marine warship. Captain, do you need to dive? Jiwei's voice of inquiry came again from the PA system. Luffy picked up the communication walkie-talkie that Frankie handed over and said, "No, we are not children who did something wrong. We have to detour when we see the teacher. We are now considered the big pirates in people's mouths. Be more arrogant and drive over directly. Even if you want to avoid us, Marine will avoid us," Luffy said. Since the Summit War incident, Luffy has been very disappointed with the world government and Marine. Luffy thinks he has never done anything harmful to nature, but the government of the world insists on killing him indiscriminately, and even dispatches the 5 elders and the Knights of God to eliminate him in naval headquarters. And Marine, no matter right or wrong, just listen to the arrangement of the government of the world. Let Luffy be eliminated, and they will resolutely eliminate Luffy out. Grandpa has left Marine, and Luffy's affection for Marine only stays with Pudding Commodore, a truly righteous person. As for the others, to put it bluntly, there is no big difference from pirates. Just like dealing with Doflamingo, Luffy doesn't think that Doflamingo is right, but just thinks that compared to King Liku, Doflamingo is sitting in Dressrosa might be a better choice for Dressrosa. After all, even if Luffy wiped out everyone in the Don Quixote family, with the strength of the Don Quixote family, as long as the next Doflamingo targets Grace Rizuka, the royal family still cannot keep the country. As long as the world is still in the current situation, if you want the country to be stable, either the king's team itself is strong, or there's a strong backer who is really responsible for you. One like the Whitebeard Pirates, although it bears the name of a pirate, but there are heavy people who are really on it. Instead of turning a blind eye and closing one eye like the government of the world, and even deliberately letting go of some shady things for profit reasons. For example, the incident in the white town of Flevens. As long as the government of the world has a little support, this country will not go to ruin. As the 1,000 miles of sunshine continues to move forward, Marine has obviously discovered the situation of the 1,000 miles of sunshine. A golden light shines into the sky. Porcelino emerged from the dazzling light. "Oh, it's you guys?" Porcelino personally led the team on this trip, and he had an important mission. He didn't expect to meet the Straw Hat Pirates here, and he was also very surprised one. However, he is quite smart. He came to the sky from a distance so that he can advance and retreat freely day. On the deck, Garp picked his nostrils. "Kizura boy, you are actually leading this fleet. Just in time, I have something to ask you." While reading the newspaper yesterday, Garp saw news about Zephyr in the newspaper. He never imagined that the guy who trusted Marine the most in 5.6 has now become a thorn in Marine's side. When I saw Policelino, Garp wanted to ask about the situation. "Mr. Garp, you're no longer a Marine, so don't ask about Marine matters." Policelino grinned at the corner of his mouth and said, "Hee. Although the government of the world has ordered that you Straw Hat Pirates be shot and killed, but since I have a mission today, let's just pretend we didn't see each other. You guys take a detour here. Otherwise, if you get close to the Marine warship, if I still pretend I didn't see it, I can't justify it. My grandpa is asking you something. What are you talking about?" Luffy also has the same nostril-picking pose as Garp. Looking at Policelino, "Yo, Straw Hat Luffy, you, the guy who disappeared for 2 years, actually reappeared. Stop talking nonsense. Let's go." Porcelino looked at the distance between the two ships getting closer and quickly waved his hands. But just after he made this action, he found that Luffy on the deck suddenly disappeared. Not good. His heart broke out, and he immediately opened Observation Haki. Under the influence of Luffy's experience killing, Paulusolino couldn't detect Luffy's position at all. He immediately turned into a streamer, ready to run. But just because of the stun moment just now, I was still a step behind. Boom! A strong force came from behind, and Paulusolino was kicked from the air in an instant. In the position behind him, Luffy was still picking his nostrils and said lightly, "My grandpa can just answer whatever he asks you. If you insist on forcing me to be rough, really." Chapter 181 Luffy. Shall I blow up for you? Please subscribe. Paulusolino. Is this red Luffy already so powerful now? In a one-on-one situation, I couldn't escape from him? Shanks, it's mainly because you don't know how powerful you are. That's why you find it strange. GOLD Roger. Huh. This involves the knowledge blind spot of Marine Admiral Shiki. But one thing to say, this kick is really good. Achiko. Yes, that guy Kazura looks cool when he falls. Paulusolino. Jay under the effect of killing knowledge. Paulusolino didn't notice Luffy's trajectory at all. In addition to listening to the voice of all things, Luffy has already determined the escape route of Paulusolino. Geo collapsed and directly collapsed Paulusolino from the air. This powerful impact, if it hits the deck directly, it will definitely destroy the deck. Zoro and Sanji kicked upwards, giving Paulusolino a forced buffer. Paulusolino clutched his stomach, forcibly turned over in the air, and landed on the deck. At the same time, Buggy has spewed out Hunter-Crack Buggy and floated behind and above Paulusolino, completely blocking Paulusolino's escape route. Nami walked over, punched Paulusolino on the head with a bang, and shouted coquettishly, "Didn't you hear what Grandpa asked you?" Feeling a magnitude 18 earthquake suddenly struck his head. Paulusolino's brain was buzzing, and he was about to get angry, but suddenly realized his current situation. So he had no choice but to look at Nami sourly. "Okay, powerful girl." Then he looked at Garp. "Master Garp, are you planning to kill me here? You kid is just going to work and get paid to work. Why should I kill you? Let me ask you, what happened to Zephyr? How did he become what he is now?" Garp asks. Hearing that Garp didn't want to kill him, Paulusolino breathed a sigh of relief. So he honestly told the matter about Guffa. Garp frowned when he heard Paulusolino's 13th mission. "So, you led the team to kill Zephyr?" Paulusolino spread his hands. "Yes, that's what Sakazuki ordered. Damn." This BD recruited 7 warlords of the sea by himself, making Zephyr feel disheartened towards Marine, and now that it has caused such consequences, he wants to destroy Zephyr. One after sorting out his thoughts, the anger in Garp's heart suddenly burst out, and he said angrily, "Give me the information about Zephyr, and I'll go find him." However, Paulusolino frowned, "But, Mr. Garp, this is my mission." Boom! Nami's fist wrapped around Armament Haki, and it immediately came down. Paulusolino already had a bag on his head, and now another bag has grown on this bag. "It looks like Paulusolino is like a gourd baby. Any comments?" Nami stared at Paulusolino and asked, shaking his fist. No more. Paulusolino's heart is extremely bitter. A dignified Marine admiral. A majestic existence. But in front of this woman in front of him, he can only be subdued after getting the information about Zephyr. Garp patted Paulusolino on the shoulder. "You go back. As long as you don't bother us, we won't make things difficult for you." Hey, good. With Garp's words, Paulusolino is like amnesty. Subconsciously wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. After Paulusolino returned to the Marine fleet, he ordered without hesitation, "Everyone, return." Marco. This guy is really a Marine admiral who just dawdles around. Vista haha. Tell him to return. If he really returns, Marshal Marine will probably die of anger. Gecko Moria. If Sakazuki is here, I will fight with the other party no matter what. Quinn. Don't talk about Sakazuki, even Jack, that idiot won't lie. Paulusolino. You bastards, it really doesn't hurt to stand and talk. After Garp got the Zephyr information, he looked at it seriously. Have you blown up an endpoint yet? Looking at the things about Zephyr, Garp's face is extremely serious. Although the island where the first endpoint is located is a deserted island, but the second endpoint is located on McCann Island, is a resort. Needless to say more about the density of the population. Once this endpoint is bombed, The consequences will be disastrous. At that time, needless to say about others, Garp will want to kill Zephyr with his own hands quick. Go to McCann Island. We have to organize this guy to do stupid things. Since going out to sea with the Straw Hat Pirates, Garp has been living like a pensioner and has never asked about Luffy. But this time, it's about Zephyr. Garp can't turn a blind eye. Full left rudder. Destination, McCann Island. Luffy shouted into the intercom. When the 1,000 miles of sunshine arrived at McCann Island, the Straw Hat Pirates immediately saw more than a dozen warships of Neo Marine docking at the port. When Garp boarded one of the warships, the Marines recognized him immediately. Where is Zephyr? Time is urgent. Garp looked at these Marines and asked directly. However, the Neo Marine team leader asked with a worried face, Mr. Garp, are you here to deal with Chief Zephyr? Damn it. The old man is afraid that he will really blow up this island. Tell me quickly, where are others? Garp is furious when he hears the Marines in front of him. These Marines also respect Garp, and they are relieved to hear that Garp is not here to capture Zephyr. Actually, normal people don't want Zephyr to blow up this island, but they're all Marines trained by Zephyr, so even if Zephyr does such crazy things, they can only follow him. Now that Garp wants to stop Zephyr, these ordinary Marines naturally hope that Garp can really stop it. Chief Zephyr has brought people to the island to set up explosive rocks. Mr. Garp, this is the phone number that could be used to get in touch with him. Please call him quickly. The leader of Neo Marine quickly took out a phone bug and handed it to Garp. Garp grabbed the phone bug and dialed it. What happened? From the other end of the phone bug, Zephyr's voice came. Zephyr, where are you bastards? I'm Garp. Garp put the phone bug to his mouth and yelled. Garp? Hearing this, Zephyr was taken aback for a moment, and then he asked in confusion, haven't you disappeared for 2 years? Why did you suddenly reappear? Garp didn't answer Zephyr's words, but asked solemnly, now is not the time to discuss this matter. I ask you, are you going to blow up this island? Huh? Where did you get the news? For Garp, Zephyr has nothing to hide. He asked with some doubts. Are you back a Marine again? Zephyr is very puzzled. Marine and the government of the world have issued an order to kill your eldest grandson without mercy. Nothing. I met Kizaru's fleet on the way here and learned that he was coming to hunt you down, and my grandson chased him away. But now is not the time to discuss this. Is the BD crazy? Why do you want to blow up the island? Don't you see how many people are on this island? Garp growled angrily. Garp, if you want to stop me, then you don't have to. I have made up my mind. As long as I blow up 3 endpoints, the 3 lava lakes on the bottom of the New World will be connected, and then the entire sea area will burst into flames, and all pirates will be wiped out. Zephyr didn't hide anything. He just told Garp what he thinks. Wait, listen to me first. This matter. Hey, hello. Garp is talking, but Zephyr has hung up the phone. Garp continues to call, but Zephyr doesn't answer. Damn. Garp scratched his hair vigorously, then looked up at the tall volcano in the middle of McCann Island. No, I have to stop him. It's too late, Mr. Garp. Calculate the time. It will be time for the endpoint to detonate in less than 10 minutes. Now it's too late for you to go to Chief Zephyr in person. The faces of a Neo team leader and the surrounding Marines are also full of sighs. They originally hoped that Garp could make Zephyr change his mind, but they didn't expect that Zephyr's heart would be so determined. Damn. You have to stop it before it's too late. There are at least 100,000 people on this island, and Zephyr must not be allowed to do such a stupid thing. Don't care so much anymore. Garp stepped on his foot and jumped after landing. This old guy quickly ran toward the top of the mountain. Grandfather, Luffy wants to say something, but Garp's back has disappeared in front of his eyes. Buggy, take me to the top of the mountain. We need to find Zephyr in 10 minutes. Luffy knew that the matter was urgent, so he stepped on it and jumped into the sky. Buggy handed his feet to Sanji without any hesitation, and then he stepped on the shaved and flew up directly. Bring this on. Usopp draws his bow and shoots out a belt-like piece of equipment. The Buggy man is in the air. Grab this belt and fix it on his waist with a click. He grabbed Luffy's shoulder and fly toward the top of the mountain. Press the control switch on the belt, and a circle of wind blowers on the belt will immediately spray a super strong wind. Whoosh! Luffy and Buggy are like sharp arrows, disappearing into the sky in an instant, on the top of the mountain on McCann Island. Zephyr is directing the final arrangement of dynamite rock. A sharp arrow strikes from the sky, and a figure descends from the sky. Boom! The ground in front of Zephyr exploded, and the smoke and dust scattered. The surrounding Neo-Marines all picked up their guns and surrounded them. As the smoke cleared, Luffy appeared in front of everyone. Seeing the boy in front of him, Zephyr immediately recognized Luffy. He raised his hand and signaled the people around him to back down. Monkey D. Luffy, I never expected to see a legend like you with my own eyes. A different smile appeared on Zephyr's face. Since the Summit War 2 years ago, Luffy's killing of the 5 elders has long been the biggest event in history. Although Luffy is only 19 years old, it does not prevent him from becoming a legend in the whole world. Your grandfather asked you to stop me? Zephyr asked with a smile. 0.73 yes. You can say that. Luffy nodded. Luffy, I know you're very strong, but kid. Speaking of this, Zephyr's volume suddenly increased. Don't just stop other people's ideals. He raised the button in his hand and said, Dynamite rock has been completely arranged. As long as I press this button, this island will explode. Luffy said calmly, Yes. It seems that I can't stop you from blowing up this island. But I can kill you. Even if you blow up this island, your plan still can't be realized, isn't it? BD, don't underestimate this old man. Hearing Luffy's outrageous words, Zephyr was furious, and the Seastone Iron Wall grinder in his right hand directly grabbed Luffy. As an old senior, who can be temperamental when being taught by a junior in such a tone? Even though he knew that what Luffy said might be true, he was still unconvinced and wanted to try. Facing Zephyr's attack, Luffy didn't dodge. Instead, the left hand stretched out, directly blocking the Seastone grinder. Boom! The powerful impact directly produced a ring-shaped air wave, which shattered the surrounding ground directly. But this time, the smile on Zephyr's face froze instantly. He watched Luffy catch the Iron Wall Crusher with one hand and said in shock, How could it be? How come the Seastone has no effect on you? It works. Luffy raised his right hand and squeezed his left arm. Look, my fruit ability is unusable right now. Zephyr's eyes are still extremely horrified. No, why aren't you weak? Because I practiced. Luffy shrugged, although he told the truth. But he said it like a joke. Then he said to Zephyr, Now, do you believe me? Zephyr looks ugly indeed. With Luffy's strength, it is indeed possible to kill him, even if he blows up the second endpoint. As long as Luffy kills him, he will not be able to achieve his plan to blow up the entire New World. Thinking of this, Zephyr's eyes turned red. Luffy, don't stop me. I must destroy all the pirates in New World. It's okay if you don't stop you. But as long as you can do one thing, I don't need you to blow it up. I'll help you do it together. Luffy let go of the Iron Wall Crusher, crossed his arms in front of him, and looked at Zephyr sharply. Chapter 182 Luffy. I don't eat beef. Please subscribe. Nami, no way. Red Luffy can't help Zephyr Admiral blow up the island together. Vince smokes Sanji. Yes. Hundreds of thousands of people died on that island. Luffy would not do such a thing. Doberman. Didn't you hear what he said just now? They're already big pirates now. So be more arrogant. Blowing up an island is nothing. Stolo Berry. In the eyes of pirates, is tens of thousands of lives a big deal. Frankie, you two bastard are talking farts. Then how do O'Hara's hundreds of thousands of lives count in the eyes of your Marine? Sakazuki, those are all criminals who violated the laws of the world government, and they deserve to die. Jaws, criminals who offended the government of the world. What a disgusting statement. You government and Marine want to destroy the 4 emperors all the time. So, in the eyes of the 4 emperors, don't you also offend the 4 emperors? Is the law of the emperors? So when you're killed by the forces of the 4 emperors, don't complain. Sora, excessive words. How dare a mere pirate speak nonsense about the law? Edward Newgate, Googling. The Whitebeard pirates will change their name in the future, and we will call it Whitebeard Mansion. In this way, can we justifiably impose killing sanctions on anyone? Charlotte Lin Lin. Ah ha ha ha. My mother is simply called Wanguo Zhangfu. According to my law, anyone who dares to have a relationship with the world's government is a capital offense. Ha ha, J. Galucius Satan. Presumptuous. You have no orthodoxy at all. How can you compare with the world's official government? Gold Roger. Come on. Satan old dog. Crows are too embarrassed to laugh at Juhei. Where did you get the face to laugh at pirates for being unorthodox? Rox D. Zebek. Everyone is just a force in the sea. It's nothing more than your world government is a bigger force. Pirates are just a little bit smaller. To put it bluntly, everyone speaks with their fists. Shiki, world government, and marine, they set a set of standards for others. And it's their turn to set another set of standards. I'm so laughing. Gee ha ha ha, you help me fry? Listening to what Luffy said, Fa suddenly frowned. This kid doesn't seem like he's joking. However, Zephyr will definitely not believe Luffy easily, but slowly asked, "What is it? Follow me." Luffy turned his head slightly and walked toward the next downhill path. "Teacher." Behind Zephyr, Ein shouted nervously. Zephyr thought for a while, but still followed. "Teacher." Ein shouted again. "Don't worry. If he wants to kill me, there's no need to go to such trouble. He can kill us all right here." The corner of Zephyr's mouth flickered into a smile, and he looked back at Ein and Bins. "Don't move here for now. Wait for me to come back and talk about it. I want to see what this kid wants to do." After finishing speaking, Zephyr walked towards the back of Luffy, going down the mountain. The two came to the resort at the foot of the mountain. Luffy bought 2 bunches of candied haws and handed them to Zephyr. Grins. "I won't eat this." Luffy is not hypocritical. He ate it by himself. Then the two continue to move forward. "Hey, boy, let's go further and we're going to see." Looking at the surrounding scene, Zephyr reminded, "Okay, let's go here." Luffy randomly came to a noodle shop and sat down with Fa. "Boy, what exactly do you want me to do?" "Hurry up, I'm in a hurry." There was a trace of dissatisfaction in Zephyr's voice at this time. The owner of the store ran over enthusiastically, with a smile all over his face. "2 guests. What do you want to eat?" "Cook me a bowl of noodles," Luffy said. "All right." The store owner smiled and looked at Zephyr again. "This guest officer." Zephyr has been busy on the mountain for a long time, and he is indeed hungry. He was about to ask the boss for a bowl of noodles, but he heard Luffy say in a cold voice, "He won't eat." The store owner's expression was a little awkward. He looked at Luffy, then at Zifa. Luffy looked at the shop owner. "Don't look at it. He doesn't deserve to eat. Go and cook me noodles." Recognizing that something was wrong, the shop owner was sweating on his forehead, so he hurried down at this time. Luffy reached out to Zephyr. "Lend me your gun." Zephyr frowned slightly. However, since he has already made an agreement with Luffy, he still handed his pistol to Luffy after a moment of hesitation. Luffy got the gun and put it on the table casually. "Guess, is there chopped green onion in the noodles that the boss cooks for me later?" "Put green onions? Does this have something to do with what you want me to do?" Zephyr couldn't understand what Luffy wanted to do. His head was full of question marks. "It's related," Luffy said calmly. Since Luffy said so, Zephyr then said, "That's good. I guess he put chopped green onions." "Well, then I guess he didn't put chopped green onion." Luffy inserted his index finger into the trigger ring of the pistol and played around casually. "If I guess right, I'll kill the shop owner, Frankie." "Nanny? Hey, is this still Luffy?" Roronoa Zoro. "Don't get excited, Frankie. Luffy won't kill people randomly. He must have a purpose in doing so." Flying Squirrel. "If you have a purpose, you can kill people indiscriminately?" Nami. "Idiot. Is your head full of shit?" What Zoro said obviously meant that Luffy had a purpose in saying that to Zephyr. Nico Robin. "Yeah, Luffy should have told Zephyr above. He must have something in mind." "What?" Hearing this, Zephyr frowned coldly. "Kill him." "Yeah. Is there a problem?" Luffy's face was calm, and there were sharp eyes in his eyes, staring at GFA's eyes. Zephyr's face also turned cold. He looked at Luffy. After a long while, he laughed. "Hee. Luffy boy, what do you like to do?" "It has nothing to do with the old man." Luffy didn't say anything, just playing with guns and eating candied haws day. The atmosphere between the two looks a little weird. After a while, the shop owner came out from the kitchen, followed by a 5 or 6-year-old girl, bouncing around. Seeing this road, Zephyr's face suddenly became tense. His 2 hands were clasped together, and he couldn't help holding the fingers of his right hand with his left hand. "Guest, your face is here." The store owner greeted warmly and put the bowl of noodles on the table. Frankie, there are green onions. That's great. Basil Hawkins, amazing. Did Luffy the Straw Hat guess the shopkeeper would put chopped green onions from the start? Skillick Manap, blah 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 blah. Could it be that he cheated and used observation haki to predict in advance? Trafalgar Law, you idiot, I haven't made noodles at that time. If Luffy's observation haki can be predicted, wouldn't it be a god Gion? Phew, at least the owner of this shop doesn't have to die. Nami, Luffy is so smart. He must have some way to know in advance. As soon as the face is put down, FA's gaze immediately looks over. When he saw the scallions floating on the noodle soup, his nervous old face suddenly relaxed and turned into a relieved smile. But at this moment, the Conqueror's haki on Luffy's body is instantly released in the whole noodle shop, except for Luffy and Zephyr. Everyone was stunned. Luffy stretched out his hand and hugged the little girl next to the shop owner, then stretched his arms and gently placed her on the sofa. What are you doing? Zephyr frowned. Luffy didn't answer, but picked up the gun on the table and shot the shop owner. The moment the bullet was fired, Zephyr grabbed Luffy's wrist and pointed it at the ceiling. Nami, huh? Crane. Damn it. He actually shot. Sakazuki, see? He's been pretending for so long, and he can't hide the fact that he has no humanity at all. Huashishin. Damn it. He's going to shoot even though there are green onions in the noodles, really. Roronoa Zoro. Stop talking nonsense. You idiots. With Red Luffy's strength, if he really wants to kill the shop owner, Zephyr can stop him. Trafalgar Law. Yeah, he has knowledge and knowledge. If he really wants to shoot, Zephyr won't be able to react at all, Usopp. You're right. Obviously, Zephyr's actions are also in Luffy's predictions. Ghost Spider. Prejudgment? What if Zephyr didn't stop him? GOLD Roger. How do you look like a fool? If Zephyr didn't stop him, he wouldn't shoot. I have to wonder. Sakazuki. It's all guessed by you. When he really kills someone later, I'll see what else you have to say. Shiki. Retarded. Beat D. What are you doing? There are green onions in the noodles. Why do you want to kill him? Zephyr grabbed Luffy's arm. He looked at the shop owner lying on the ground, and he was not shot, so he felt relieved. Luffy pointed to the beef in his noodle soup and said lightly, I don't eat beef. Nanny? Looking at the few slices of beef in the noodle bowl, Fadden felt furious. UBD, just because you don't want to eat beef, you're going to kill him? Suddenly, Zephyr was furious and punched Luffy. Luffy is not used to him. He punched him out, although the ability of Rubber Fruit is imprisoned by Sea Stone. But Luffy's haki is a genuine existence exist. A punch on Zephyr's face, making him stare at him. It took several seconds for Zephyr to wake up. As soon as you wake up, hurry up and see the shop owner. But don't be nervous, he's not dead yet. Luffy pointed to the pistol on the table and smiled lightly. Zephyr saw this and took his hand back without hesitation. By the way, you just hold that gun. Luffy smiled slightly and continued, remember what I told you just now? As long as you do one thing, I will not stop you from blowing up the island, but I will also help you X. What's the matter? Zephyr looked at Luffy vigilantly. He has a very bad impression of Luffy now. Kill everyone in this store. The corner of his mouth curved slightly. Luffy pointed to the shop owner lying on the ground. Let's start with him, then his 5 or 6-year-old daughter, and then the old couple over their wife, and the local maintenance man. Luffy pointed at the people in the store with his fingers and arranged for Zephyr to kill. Zephyr's eyes follow Luffy's finger. Looks over the immature child, the kind old man, the simple and honest maintenance worker. You are a devil. Enraged, Zephyr got up angrily and rushed towards Luffy. Luffy also knocked him down with one unceremonious punch. Then, Luffy picked up the pistol and put it in Zephyr's hand. He grabs Zephyr's hand and aims at the store owner. Beat D. What are you doing? Zephyr was so angry after being punched by Luffy that he had no ability to fight back, so he could only roar helplessly. Didn't I say that? As long as you shoot and kill everyone in this shop, I will help you blow up the island together, Luffy said while stuffing FA's finger into the trigger port like an inhuman appearance. Since you don't want to kill the shop owner, let's kill this little girl first. Luffy takes Zephyr's hand and turns the gun to the little girl. Damn, You child of the devil. Let go of my hand. What are you doing? She's just a child. Good job. Watching Luffy turn his gun on the little girl, Zephyr was so anxious that he yelled hoarsely. However, Luffy didn't show any sympathy. After pointing the muzzle at the little girl, his finger was also inserted into the trigger port and rested on Zephyr's index finger. It's just killing someone, you won't be unable to do it, right? Luffy's voice came from behind, and in my ear, the devil's murmur dole. Is Red Luffy crazy? You forced teacher Zephyr to do that kind of thing. Kirby Luffy, why did you do that? Flying Squirrel, where's the guy who spoke for Red Luffy? Did you all see that? He's a total scum. Doberman, brute, Ghost Spider, to force an old man in his 70s to kill a 5 or 6-year-old child with his own hands, calling him a devil. The devil feels aggrieved. BD, UBD, let me go. I want to kill you. Don't force me. Zephyr's face is full of panic. Can't make it? Isn't this nonsense? Who is a normal person who can kill a 5 or 6-year-old girl? Oh, are you unable to do so? Luffy laughed and said he put Zephyr's head on the ground so that he could look at the little girl with his own eyes. Since you can't do it, then I'll help you. Speaking, Luffy's finger pulled the trigger. With the moment of the gunshot, Zephyr's eyes cracked, and tears of collapse flowed in and out. No. But the next moment, Zephyr's eyes froze. He looked at the unscathed little girl in front of him, and turned to look at Luffy in a daze. Luffy showed a big mouthful white fang. Oh, I'm sorry, I accidentally unloaded the bullet just now. Let's reload the bullet. Let's do it again. Chapter 183, If Zephyr is Not Worthy of Redemption. Who else in this world is worthy of redemption? Please subscribe. The moment the gun rang, all the moviegoers broke into a cold sweat. After all, even if they are pirates, most pirates would not have the heart for a 5 or 6-year-old girl to die so inexplicably and tragically. It wasn't until seeing that there was no bullet in this round that everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Damn, Dad was scared to death. I won't help you this time. You can do it yourself. Luffy reloads the bullet, then throws the gun in front of Zephyr. Then he returned to the dining table, picked up the chopsticks, picked up a noodle, blew on it, and put it in his mouth. Suck. This side tastes so bad. Luffy raised his head, shaking his head slightly, looking like he was enjoying it. You can still eat more. Seeing Luffy like this, Zephyr is going crazy. He picks up the gun and shoots at Luffy. Continuously, Luffy held the chopsticks and pinched his hand a few times in the air like a phantom. Several bullets were neatly arranged on the table by the chopsticks. Why? I told you to shoot her, not me. Luffy pouted. Damn, you devil, what the hell are you trying to do? Zephyr smashed the gun in his hand to the ground, waiting for Luffy with red eyes. Luffy took a sip of noodles, with a relaxed expression on his face, and looked at Zephyr with a look of disdain at the corner of his mouth. Tell me about you. What are you pretending to do here? Zephyr is furious. What are you pretending? What are you pretending to be? Pretend to be a Madonna. Luffy smiled disdainfully, then picked up the bowlsy law, taking a mouthful of soup whole. Zephyr really broke the defense. He looked at Luffy with fire-breathing eyes. Boy, if you don't make it clear today, I will never end with you. Luffy put down the bowl, leaned back on the chair behind, knocked his left leg on his right leg, and put his hands on his knees casually. He looked at Zephyr faintly. Aren't you going to blow up the end on this island? Point 1, so what? Zephyr doesn't deny at all Luffy was noncommittal and continued. By detonating the end point of this island, almost all the people on this island will die. Don't you know? Zephyr straightened his neck and defended immediately after hearing this. I'm here to destroy the New World pirates. Even if a certain sacrifice is made, there's nothing I can do. 790-inch, don't get excited. I didn't say you were wrong. Luffy smiled slightly, then pointed to the people in this shop. So when you detonate the end point, the owner of the shop will die, the 6-year-old girl will die, the old couple next to him will die, and the maintenance worker will die too. Since they will all die because of you detonating the end point, then I'll let you kill them now. What's the problem for you? Mr. Zephyr, you have lived a long time. You should not know how painful it is for a person to die in lava. Look at that little girl. She is only 6 years old. I want you to give her a happy. Let her leave this world unconsciously in a coma. without any bitterness. There are other people on this island. I can think of their desperate and terrified expressions in the volcanic lava. Since you want to kill them, then I will come to be a merciful virgin. Please, please let them go comfortably gone. This, I think, Red Luffy seems to be right. Edward Newgate. I remember the same thing in the White Frame video, just now. Marine seems to have sent Marine Admiral to kill Zephyr directly, right? Marco. Yes, Dad. And it was killed by two admirals together, Edward Newgate. Look at what Marine does, and then look at what Red Luffy does, and you will find more and more that Marine is really blind. Shiki. Jiahahaha. Oh, that's right. You don't have to have any psychological burden. I will use Conqueror's Haki to stun the people on this island. And then you just need to follow me to make up the knife 3. In this way, everyone on this island will not have any pain, and no one will know that you did it. Speaking of which, Luffy picked up a fork on the table and threw it in the direction of F.A. What are you doing? Zephyr subconsciously caught the fork. If you don't have a knife, use a fork instead. Luffy pouted and looked at Zephyr. As a former Marine Admiral, it's not difficult for you to kill someone with a fork. You, fa. Hearing what Luffy said, Zephyr burst into fury. Luffy smiled disdainfully and said, "Leave you and me alone. Hurry up and give the little girl a good time. It's good deeds, isn't it?" Speaking, Luffy picked up a piece of beef, put it in his mouth, and chewed happily. Seeing this scene, Zephyr frowned. "Didn't you just say that you don't eat beef?" Luffy looked up. "Beef is so delicious, why don't I eat it?" So, the reason why you wanted to kill the shop owner just now is not valid at all. You're pretending that you don't eat beef. Zephyr's eyes spit fire. "I've lived so long. I've been eating beef all my life. Will I pretend I don't eat beef? Don't be kidding. I not only eat beef, I will eat it unswervingly for the rest of my life." Luffy picked up another piece of beef and stuffed it into his mouth, with a playful expression on his face. As for the person who pretends not to eat beef, isn't it you, Mr. Law? Monkey D. Luffy, what are they talking about, eating beef or not? Beef is so delicious. Is there anyone who doesn't like it? Vince smokes Sanji, stupid Luffy. Just now the Red Luffy pretended not to eat beef and then killed innocent people in cold blood. Now he said that Zephyr was the one who pretended not to eat beef head. But what he wanted to say was that Zephyr was the one people who pretend to be cold-blooded and heartless. Monkey D. Luffy. Why does this sound so insane? Roronoa Zoro. Stupid, you're the only one burning your brain. Monkey D. Luffy, huh? No way. Is that really the case? Trafalgar Law. Don't doubt it. You may be the only one who doesn't understand the straw hat. Capone Beach. No matter how stupid a person is, if he thinks about it for a while, he should be able to understand. Zephyr. Hiss. Red Luffy, you really see through me over there. Crane. The reason why you can detonate the explosive rock ignoring hundreds of thousands of lives on the island is because you can't see the death scene caused by you detonating the explosive rock. If you put so many lives in front of you and let you solve it yourself, you impossible to do it. Monkey D. Garp. Yeah. Even if you're disappointed with Marine and the world government, you are still the kind guy. Zephyr. Kazan. I have to admit, Red Luffy handles this matter much more beautifully than that guy. From the comparison of the White Frame video just now, compared to Kizaru directly killing Zephyr with an 8-foot Kiongoyu, it is obviously the right way to redeem people like Zephyr. Although not everyone in this world is worth saving, but Zephyr. As an admiral who doesn't kill, if he is not worthy of redemption, then there are absolutely no more than one person in this world who is worthy of redemption. Olusalino. I won't take the blame. I'm just following orders. And it's Sakazuki who is going to take the blame. Sakazuki, huh? If I gave the order, then the order must be right. I'm the one who pretends not to eat beef. Hearing this, Shifa was taken aback for a moment, but then his heart was shocked. He suddenly realized, yeah, why did I attack these people? Because I have always been a beef eater. The reason why I can ignore the life and death of hundreds of thousands of people on this island is because I didn't see it with my own eyes. I can't see beef. I can pretend to be someone who doesn't eat beef. But what about when beef is stuffed in my mouth? I can't ignore it. At this time, Luffy put the leftover half bowl of noodles in front of Zephyr and said lightly, "This beef is delicious. Do you want to eat it?" Looking at the beef in the bowl in front of me, Zephyr seems to have lost his soul. "The beef is delicious, yes. I have eaten beef all my life. I have never killed any innocent civilians in my whole life. Do you want to change now?" At this time, Luffy stuffed the fork into Zephyr's hand. "The fork is in your hand. If you don't want to eat beef, then use the fork to kill them. If you want to eat beef, this fork it is just right for eating beef." Speaking, Luffy's Conqueror's Haki is released, forming a soft and substantive comfort, awakening everyone in the store. How did I faint? Oh, I'm so dizzy. What happened? Strange, what happened? Everyone wakes up one after another, Dad. The 6-year-old girl ran over to support the shop owner, and then looked at Luffy curiously. "Brother, what happened just now? They seem to have passed out." Luffy gently patted the little girl's head and said with a smile, "Just now, a group of pirates came to the shop." The little girl turned pale with fright and screamed. Others are also shocked, but don't be afraid. This grandpa, he used to be Marine Admiral, and countless people have been helped by him. Just now, that is, he drove all those pirates away and protected you. Luffy pointed at Zephyr with his finger and said with a smile. "Really?" Hearing what Luffy said, something appeared in the eyes of the little girl. She threw herself to Zephyr's side, hugging his leg. Her immature eyes were full of gratitude. "Grandpa, thank you." When the little girl's words fell into Zephyr's ears, the steely old fellow trembled. He tightly held the fork in his hand. What Luffy said just now appeared in his mind. "Don't eat beef. Fork them to death." Eating beef, this place is just right. See, thank you so much. Mister, you are such a good person. If it weren't for you, little Sakura and I would be in trouble. In this world, there's so many bad people. A good person like you is really the savior of us ordinary people. Sir, I invite you for this meal. Although it is trivial, I want to express my gratitude to you. Customers in the shop sincerely want to express their gratitude to Zephyr. The hand holding the fork is trembling on the hale and hearty face. The corners of the mouth are twitching nonstop. Tears of guilt swirl in Zephyr's eye sockets. He listened to people around him thanking him. He felt very ashamed because these people would have died tragically in the magma because of him detonating the explosive rock. He looked at the 6-year-old girl who was holding his leg, those big, ignorant eyes, and the innocence shining in that dark, childlike figure. Tears of remorse flowed from Zephyr's eyes instantly. "Grandpa, why are you crying?" The little girl wiped the corners of Zephyr's eyes with her immature hands. With a natural kindness, she said innocently, "Grandpa, are you hungry? Eat a piece of beef. Let's eat a piece of beef. Eat a piece of beef." It was this innocent and childish voice that became the final blow to break Zephyr's defense. He forked it over with a fork, forked up this piece of beef. He handed the piece of beef to his mouth. Staring at the piece of beef, the tears in the corners of Zephyr's eyes couldn't stop flowing. He looked up at Luffy and said with a choked voice, "Luffy boy, actually, I also like to eat beef." As if using all the strength in his body, Zephyr roared loudly. Even the kindness and benevolence that was deliberately sealed deep in his heart also shouted out together, "Ah!" Zephyr stuffed the beef into his mouth in one gulp and started chewing big mouthfuls. "Grandpa, is the beef my dad cooks delicious?" The 6-year-old little Sakura tilted her face and asked innocently and curiously, "Delicious, so delicious." Zephyr burst into tears. He picked up the bowl of noodles left over by Luffy and ate it with big mouthfuls. He eats more than noodles, eating back his former kindness bit by bit. Finishing the noodles, Zephyr picked up the bowl and drank all the soup. Seeing that Zephyr liked his noodles so much, the shop owner laughed heartily. "Ah, benefactor, don't worry. I'll cook another bowl of noodles for you." Zephyr put down the bowl, looked at the back of the shop owner, and shouted, "Remember to add more beef." I like it. Chapter 180, For There Must Always Be a Dragon-Slaying Boy to Stand Up. Please subscribe. Zephyr, that kid, I thank him for me over there. Zephyr couldn't help but burst into tears watching the red frame video, where he could be redeemed, especially after comparing with the white frame video. just now, Zephyr's gratitude to the Red Luffy is even deeper. Is there anything better than being redeemed by someone else? Monkey D. Garp, as expected of my grandson. I'm so happy. Crane, don't be so pretty. That's the Red Luffy over there. Monkey D. Garp, the eldest grandson over there is not my eldest grandson. GOL D. Roger, those idiots who just said that Red Luffy is a scum haven't come out and lined up to apologize to Red Luffy. Shiki, they won't come out. Giahaha. After the table was filled with dozens of empty bowls, Luffy and F.A. came out from the shop above. Luffy was not full at all, but the store owner insisted on free, and Luffy was too embarrassed to eat more, so he had to come out hungry. Haha. This year, the old man has never been so relaxed as now. Standing on the edge of the railing on the road around the mountain, Zephyr looked at the magnificent sea in the distance, and he stretched his shoulders with ease. He looked at Luffy beside him and said, "Boy Luffy, what is your ideal?" Is it ideal? Luffy stepped on the railing and looked at the sea in the distance. 2 years ago, my ideal was to travel around the world and become stronger through experience. I hope my strength can be improved on top of this world. Zephyr pondered slightly. 2 years ago, so has your ideal changed now? Luffy smiled and said, "There is no change, but there is one more ideal. It has been 5 years since I went to sea." Luffy never forgets his original intention and is growing at the same time. He squatted down, then sat on the railing and said, "I still remember when I first went to sea. I was just a teenager who only thought about how to survive in this world of the jungle. So what made you change?" Zephyr asked with a smile. "During this journey, I saw a lot of things that I never thought of before, and I also had many wonderful partners. We have come all the way, but do good deeds. Don't ask about the future." In the experience again and again, I gradually understood a truth that my grandfather once told me. Luffy said slowly, "Brother Garp told you the truth." Hearing this, Zephyr frowned slightly, showing an interested look. "When I was very young, my grandfather didn't spend much time with me. He was out fighting pirates all year round. At that time, I was actually very resentful towards my grandfather. Every time I ask him why he can't spend more time with me, he always touches my head and says to me with a smile, 'Luffy, there are many people in this world who need help, although it is impossible for us to help everyone. But you remember, the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility.' At that time, I couldn't understand this kind of reasoning at all, so I felt very annoying. But when I have been on this journey all the way, I realized that it is precisely because of people like Grandpa that there are so many ordinary people who can look at their children's smiling faces and giggle. There are so many women who can cook for their husbands and children peacefully in front of the stove. There are so many children who can live a carefree childhood. I am not as great as my grandpa, but my current ability is much stronger than my grandpa's. Since I have such ability, the me now, I want to try to change the world." Luffy looked back to the noodle shop. The shop owner was sitting and clapping with his daughter lovingly. "Within the scope of our ability, we can make more people live happily like the owner of this shop. This is actually quite good. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility." Hearing this, Zephyr suddenly burst into laughter. "Aha! Speaking of it, at the beginning, this sentence was passed from me to Brother Garp. Luffy boy, I'm really relieved to see that a powerful person like you doesn't have such thoughts. Changing the world." Zephyr cast his gaze in the direction of Mariewa and said in a deep voice, "Yeah, when some people don't deserve their virtue, there must always be a dragon-slaying boy to stand up." J. Galucius Satan San. "Damn stuff. Maka's Mazsheng. Dragon Slayer boy? What an overreaching thing." Izambaron V. Nasuro San. "Zephyr, I think you've lost your mind." Sengoku. "Masters, that's the Zephyr in the red frame video, not from here." Seeing that 5 elders seemed to blame Zephyr for his treachery, Sengoku hurriedly said a few good words for his old buddy Topman Vachali. "Humph. Sengoku, figure out where you stand. Although it's Zephyr in the red frame video over there, you don't understand, right? Except for the 2 Luffys, the people on both sides, pretty much the same idea." Shepherd 10 Pits Annie. "Yeah, the Zephyr over there can have such stupid ideas. Then the Zephyr over here can." GOLD Roger. "Yo, I'm really in a hurry now. All 5 old dogs came out to talk. Shiki, Jiahahaha. Even their Marines are turning against them. Can they not be in a hurry? At this time, Zephyr's phone rang, and Binz's voice came from inside. Teacher, it's time to detonate. Please give me instructions. Withdraw. Zephyr's voice was filled with relief. Nanny. Binz thought he heard it wrong, so he repeated it immediately. Teacher, what do you mean? Did you remove the explosive rock? Zephyr replied. Yes, scatter all the dynamite rocks. Then throw them into the sea. Wait, teacher, if someone threatens you, just ask the phone bug to wink. For Zephyr, whose attitude suddenly turned 180 degrees, Binz's first reaction was that someone kidnapped Zephyr. In connection with the situation where Luffy took Zephyr away just now, I'm almost 100% sure that Zephyr is now being threatened by Luffy. To speak hearing this, Zephyr was furious. Why are you blinking? Listen to me. The me who lost his mind and lost his mind no longer exists. The me now is still the me I used to be. Give me the dynamite, throw the rock into the sea. Teacher is, as Zephyr's confidant. Effectiveness clearly feels the true thoughts of the Holy Law now when he heard that the former teacher had returned. No one was happier than him. He yelled to the surrounding Neo Marines. Teacher, he's back. Everyone is there. The teacher ordered, throw all the explosive rocks into the sea. Good. Regarding this order, the Neo Marines all shouted excitedly. In the sky, Buggy held Garp in both hands, followed the guidance of Luffy's life card, and came to Luffy. It's there. Buggy flew down with Garp, brother Garp. Seeing Garp approaching, F.A. opened his arms and immediately greeted him. Oh! Garp rushed over with a punch. Directly knocking Zephyr to the ground, he rushed up, grabbed Zephyr's skirt, and said angrily, Do you know what you are? At this moment, Binz's voice came from the phone bug in Zephyr's hand. Teacher, all the explosive rocks have been dismantled and thrown into the sea. Garp was taken aback for a moment, then stared at Jaffa with wide eyes. What's going on? You didn't blow up the island? Zephyr was lying on the ground, laughing loudly. Huh? If you, an idiot, stop me, everyone on this island will die several times, damn it. You still dare to mock me. Garp was furious. Then what's the situation now? Why did you suddenly change your mind? Zephyr chuckled. Because your grandson treated me to a bowl of beef noodles. Beef noodles? Garp frowned, looked back at Luffy, who was picking his nostrils, and then looked at Zephyr. What the hell? Can a bowl of beef noodles make you stupid? No. On the contrary, this bowl of beef noodles brought me back to normal. Huh? Zephyr pushes Garp away, then stands up then. Zephyr slowly told Garp the whole story after listening. Garp looked at Luffy in shock. You have been talking for a long time, but you don't know what to say. He couldn't imagine that someone would use Luffy's method. However, it has a miraculous effect. Looking at Zephyr, Garp said with emotion, Brother Zephyr, I'm glad you can get out of that extreme emotion. Next, what are you going to do? Return to the world government. Return to the world government? Ha, impossible. Zephyr laughed. He shook his head. I also watched Summit War. The world government will do anything to kill Luffy, and they're not even willing to reveal the reason. Began to distrust, until I learned that the BD pirate who killed a boatload of my students became 7 warlords of the sea. I was completely disappointed in the world government. Since I established Neo Marine, I have found that out of the control of the world government, I can better fulfill the justice in my heart. Now, I want to lead Neo Marine to fight for justice. Ask for flowers? Garp, remember? With great power comes great responsibility. Zephyr looks at Garp. Garp pouted. Nonsense. The reason why we have struggled for so many years is all because of the responsibility on our shoulders. Zephyr smiled. Now I have a new goal. Fast farts. Don't be a joke, Garp said. Zephyr laughed and said, Ha. Luffy, want to try change the world. I was thinking, when that day comes, I will also be a helping hand for this kid. Nanny? He really thinks so. Hearing this, Garp's eyes widened suddenly, and then he looked at Luffy. You kid really plan to do this? A monkey D-Dragon has exhausted Garp. Now Luffy plans to do the same with Luffy crossed his arms, nodded slightly, and smiled. Grandpa, what is your expression? Don't you still think you're a Marine Vice Admiral? It's not all because of you. Thinking of this, Inpu is obviously still a little bit unexplainable. After all, he has been a Marine all his life, and once he looks back, it turns into nothing. Luffy has a smirk on his face. Cut. You didn't take the initiative to help me by licking your face? Nanny, you little BD, do you still have a conscience? Garp was furious, grabbed Luffy by the collar, and carried him over. Luffy rolled his eyes. I'm your grandson. If you have a conscience, don't you still have to look towards me? Ha ha. Zephyr on the side laughed loudly at the teasing of the grandpa and grandson. BD, try my iron fist of love. Looking at Luffy's dead pig, who is not afraid of being scalded by boiling water, Garp was furious and hit Luffy on the head with his fist. Boom! The moment the fist falls, Luffy Nika forms. Luffy was smashed directly to the ground. Seeing him sticking to the ground like this, he laughed and said, Grandpa, times have changed. The iron fist of love doesn't hurt at all. Garp is so angry that his heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys are beating wildly at the same time, and then he can only be impotent and furious. Ha ha ha! Zephyr watched this scene, burst into tears from laughter at the same time. He is also very envious. If his child hadn't been killed by pirates, he must have a grandson now. His grandson should be as old as Luffy Zephyr. Ha! Garp, the red Luffy over there really has you in control. Monkey D. Garp. Hey, you have the right to laugh at me? Aren't you also being picked on by my grandson? Zephyr. Ha ha! Crane, you two old guys. You guys over there are really happy from the bottom of your heart. Kong. Hey, you over there have finally embarked on the path of rebellion. Especially Garp. You over there are really criminals. Originally, Monkey D. Long was already the leader of the Revolutionary Army. Now Hong Luffy has another ideal to change the world, and Garp betrayed Marine, and he will definitely support Luffy in the future. In Zephyr's case, Drunk intended to die for Luffy. Watching the development of the red frame video, Kong felt extremely sad in his heart. Zephyr's incident has come to an end. The Straw Hat Pirates and their group spent a week on Macon Island. After replenishing the supplies, 1,000 Miles of Sunshine embarked on the voyage again. However, Garp decides to board Zephyr's ship. Although I can be with my grandson on 1,000 Miles of Sunshine, but staying with a group of young people. Garp is really boring. EI generation gap is something that cannot be seen or imitated. But that's what really exists. Hanging out with Zephyr these days, Garp has more smiles on his face than he has in 2 years. BD Luffy, I'm leaving, and you won't hold me back? Standing on the deck of a Neo warship, Garp was furious. Why? If I ask you to stay, you can stay, Luffy asked, picking his nostrils. Zephyr laughed. Huh, Garp, let's go. I'm furious. Garp took a deep breath, turned his head and walked towards the cabin, but before I walked a few steps, Luffy's voice came from behind. Grandpa, it's windy at sea. Don't catch a cold. Ah, Garp's heart trembles. My eldest grandson is such a sensible BD. 8. Chapter 185 Shiki. Lin Lin, I still like the unruly you before. Please subscribe. Leaving McCann Island, 1,000 Miles of Sunshine has sailed for a period of time. Arrived in Tato Land Sea Area Kaido. Old woman, it's your turn to appear, Charlotte Lin Lin. Aha! My mother's territory is not so easy to break into. Edward Newgate, for ordinary pirates, your territory is definitely not easy to break into. But for the Red Luffy, the old man thinks I'm afraid they're just walking in their back garden in the Tato Land waters. What's the difference? Shiki, jiahahaha. If you say that, Lin Lin will lose face Achiko. Is this a matter of face or not? When Red Luffy beats her later, let's see if she still wants to lose face. Charlotte Lin Lin. Achiki, you idiot. Shut up if you can't speak. Rox D. Zebek. Ha ha ha. Cake Island inside the Cake Castle. Mom, the boat of the Straw Hat Pirates was found in the waters near Cheese Island. Charlotte Bree took a phone bug and quickly came to Charlotte Lin Lin, making an urgent report. Straw Hat Luffy? Charlotte Lin Lin was eating dessert when she heard the name of the Straw Hat Pirates. Her expression changed immediately. Although the New World is under the control of the 4 emperors, none of the 4 emperors would be willing to fight the Straw Hat Pirates. Even 2 years ago, this pirate group could turn the world upside down in naval headquarters by itself. Even Straw Hat Luffy also completed the epic feat of killing 5 elders. With such a record, any 4 Emperors pirate group will feel guilty when they meet them alone. Charlotte Linlin never imagined that 977, this legendary pirate group that had disappeared for 2 years, would suddenly appear on her territory. Damn, what is this guy doing here? Charlotte Linlin frowned, and the small cake in her hand was inadvertently squeezed into a strangely shaped sponge. Mom, Brother Mondor wants to talk to you. At this moment, Charlotte Bryant handed the phone bug to Charlotte Linlin. Mondor, what's the matter? Have you contacted the Straw Hat Pirates yet? Charlotte Linlin picked up the phone bug and asked. However, the voice from the other end of the phone bug is not Charlotte Mondor's voice, but Luffy's voice. Hello, Aunt. I'm Monkey D. Luffy, and I brought some desserts for you. Is it a meal? Straw Hat. Hearing this, Charlotte Linlin frowned and said in a cold voice, Where is Montdal? What did you do to him? As soon as she finished speaking, Charlotte Mondor's voice came from the phone bug. Mom, I'm here. Your Excellency Luffy didn't do anything to me. He just wanted to talk to you. So I specially used phone bug contact U.1 on the deck of the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine. Charlotte Mondor stands obediently next to Luffy D. Is the 19th son of a Charlotte family, and he is the cheese minister of all countries. He's a calm guy. Just now, when he heard the intelligence agent say that the ship of the Straw Hat Pirates was found in the waters near his territory, he was startled this pirate group, whose strength is even higher than that of the 4 Emperors, actually came here. Mondor knows that if it is not handled properly, it may bring unimaginable disaster to the family. Even if you put all your strength into Big Mom Pirates, even if you can barely defeat the Straw Hat Pirates, that kind of consequence is absolutely unacceptable to Big Mom Pirates. What's more, in his opinion, if there's a real war, then there's a high probability that the losing party will be their Big Mom Pirates. He didn't think much about it at all and asked his subordinates to notify the Cake Island immediately. And then he immediately stepped on the book and flew to the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine. Knowing that Luffy came to visit Charlotte Linlin, Mondor was relieved and quickly helped Luffy contact Charlotte Linlin. At this time, Charlotte Linlin heard that Montdal was fine, and her tone became relaxed. Straw Hat Luffy, if I remember correctly, there is no friendship between us, right? And there is no hatred, right? Regarding Luffy's sudden visit, Charlotte Linlin immediately became alarmed. As the saying goes, if you don't go to the 3 Treasures Hall for nothing, if the other party suddenly visits, if you say that you were just here for a meal, even if you kill Charlotte Linlin will not believe it. Auntie, you are right. But you don't have to be nervous. I came to visit you just to ask for something. There is no other meaning. Hearing the guard in Charlotte Linlin's words, Luffy explained with a smile. With the current strength of the Straw Hat Pirates, if they want to fight the Big Mom Pirates, they must be undefeated. But the problem is, as Charlotte Linlin said just now, the Hat Pirates and the Big Mom Pirates have never had any intersection. Both sides have neither kindness nor enmity. So we can't bring our partners to kill the Big Mom Pirates directly in order to obtain the historical text, right? In that case, not only will the islanders in the Tato land waters suffer bad luck, but even for the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates, it will be an extremely irresponsible approach. The Big Mom Pirates are also the 4 Emperors group. Although in terms of hard power, the Straw Hat Pirates are sure to win. However, with such a large family and various Paramecia devil fruit abilities, who can guarantee that no accidents will happen? If the partner is seriously injured or even has serious consequences just because of grabbing the historical text, Luffy will never forgive herself no matter what. So in all things, you must be polite first and then soldier. If this matter can be discussed and resolved, that would be the best. If the negotiation fails, then do other considerations. Oh, do you have something to ask me? Hearing what Luffy said, Charlotte Linlin obviously felt very different. She wondered, what is it? Let's talk about it. It's not a big deal. I heard that you have 3 historical texts in your hand. I want to print the contents of these 3 historical texts. In return, I can pay you 100 million Baileys. and these 3 historical texts, after I have translated the content of the historical text, I can share it with you. How do you see it? Luffy calmly stated his condition hearing this. Charlotte Linlin narrowed her eyes slightly. To be honest, although things like the historical text seem to have no substantive effect, but this is an important thing to go to Raftel after all. One having this kind of thing is also a symbol of strength. If it were someone else who made such a request to her, Charlotte Linlin would have cursed at her right now. Even if it's Kaido, Whitebeard, she still can't miss it. But facing the Straw Hat Pirates and Luffy, Charlotte Linlin is obviously not so impulsive. She is a terrible aunt in the eyes of others, and a queen who speaks for herself. But she is not an idiot. The strength shown by the Straw Hat Pirates in the Summit War has been carefully studied by every big pirate in this sea, especially things like killing 5 elders. It means a lot, because since he has the strength to kill the 5 elders, he will naturally have the strength to kill the 4 emperors. Issues that can threaten life and death. Even a big mother who speaks one thing will consider it carefully. What Luffy said on the phone just now is also heard by the family cadres around Charlotte Linlin. Charlotte Linlin looked at everyone. What do you think about the legend of the Straw Hat Pirates? Kaido, what is the old woman over there doing? Is this something an old woman can say? Shiki, that's right. I remember that in the white frame video, just now, Luffy and the Straw Hat wanted to use money to compensate Linlin for the desserts. At that time, Linlin was very haki and said what? Achiko. She said that the word compromise is not in the pirate's dictionary. Shiki, jiha. That's right. That's it. Linlin, I still like the unruly you in the white frame video. Just now, Charlotte Linlin. Damn it, Golden Retriever. Are you an idiot? With the strength of the Straw Hat Pirates over there. If it were you, would you choose a hard bar? Gold Roger. That's right. If Linlin was a single-minded person, she would not be able to achieve the status of the 4 emperors facing an opponent who knows she has no chance of winning. She is not forced to be desperate. Whoever will go up. Who will go up and shout and kill. Don Quixote da Flamingo. Fuffer, Jack that fool. He will. Quinn, Jack. Joker. You are looking for death. Don Quixote da Flamingo. I still can't tell the difference between the king and the king. You are no different from a retarded man. Crane, if you don't know how to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages, it's impossible for the ant to become the 4 emperors. If the ant in the red frame video directly starts fighting with the Straw Hat Pirates, then she's really out of her mind. 3 ding. Enter the prize-winning answering session. At this moment, a question appeared on the big screen. Question: what is the next progress of Hong Luffy and Big Mom? A. Charlotte Linlin is unwilling to provide the historical text. The Straw Hat Pirates killed the Big Mom Pirates in a rage and wiped out the Charlotte family. B. Charlotte Linlin is unwilling to provide the historical text. The Straw Hat Pirates leave in disgrace. C. Charlotte Linlin is willing to provide the historical text. Red Luffy married Auntie, and Red Luffy became the father of the Charlotte family. D. Charlotte Linlin is willing to provide the historical text. The sisters of the Charlotte family are married into the Straw Hat Pirates. E. Charlotte Linlin is willing to provide the historical text, but still got beaten up by Luffy. At this moment, a question and answer appeared on the screen. Usopp. Are you sure that option C is not a joke? Shiki. Jahahaha. I think this C is possible. The more outrageous the answer, the more likely it is the correct answer in the end. Charlotte Smoothie. If that kind of thing happened, I have to call a 19-year-old burly guy Papa? Ben Beckman. Isn't that right? Luffy is a rubber fruit-capable person, keeping you calling Dad every day. Yasop hot. Lackey Lou. Oh, the picture is here. Charlotte Smoothie. You guys are idiots. Rox D. Zebek. Choose D. Gold D. Roger. Rox, the sneaky ones have already started to choose Rox D. Zebek. Who the hell is secretly imitating? If you want to choose, choose. If you don't choose, don't talk nonsense. Gold D. Roger. Okay, I choose D too. Keep pace with you. We all prosper, and we all lose. Shiki. Choose D. Who cares if he is right or not? Let's keep up with the formation. Rox D. Zebek. You 2B. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking, seeing that Roger and Shiki are the same as his choice. Rox is very angry now. The three of them just got the reward of resurrection, but they didn't get any ability from the viewing system. The three of them can be said to go hand in hand. If Rox can get another reward, then maybe he has the strength to handle Roger and Shiki, and Roger and Shiki chose together with him, clearly aiming at him. Kazuki Odin what? Can option D be right? Charlotte Linlin. From my mother's point of view, option D might really be possible. Edward Newgate. Googling. Marriage is indeed Linlin's forte. Jack. Then why not choose C? Quinn. You idiot. Let you follow Aunt. Would you like to? Charlotte Linlin. Quinn, you're looking for death. Quinn, him. Vinsmoke Sanji. Choose E. Isn't this E option quite unreasonable? Tony Chopper, huh? Are the reasons for choosing now based on unreasonable choices? Vinsmoke Sanji. Yes. 2.4. Choose E soon. It's definitely possible. Usopp. If it is unreasonable, then B is the most unreasonable. Trafalgar Law. B is not unreasonable. B is impossible. Countdown to answer the question. St. Topman Vauchely. Pick A. Izambaron V. Nasha Langsham. I also choose E. There's a rationality in the unreasonable. Vinsmoke Sanji. Damn it, the correct answer was picked up by 5 elders. Friends, choose quickly. As the countdown to answering questions ends, the red frame video continues to play, hearing Charlotte Linlin's inquiry. The cadres of the Charlotte family present were all taken aback. Obviously, they didn't expect that Charlotte Linlin didn't get the other side back in the first place this time. Charlotte Perispero flatteringly said, Mom, the Straw Hat Pirates really don't know what they are up to. It's just a layer of gold plating in the Summit War. So they don't know what their last name is. Actually dare to covet mother's treasure. Lick. As the eldest brother of the Charlotte family, Perispero's greatest quality is flattery, and he is very smart. His words are just to increase his own momentum. But it does not bring any business to Charlotte Linlin. This kind of words is very comfortable to listen to. But it is useless. At this time, Charlotte Katakuri said, Mom, I have carefully studied the information about the Straw Hat One Piece before. Even 2 years ago, their strength has surpassed any 4 Emperors group. Now, their strength is probably even more unimaginable. Hearing this, Charlotte Linlin narrowed her eyes slightly, with a thoughtful look on her face. Chapter 186, Is there a difference between Wangua and the world government? Please subscribe. Charlotte Linlin still attaches great importance to Katakuri's opinion. After all, in this family, Charlotte Linlin is most optimistic about how long Katakuri is the second-child mom. Actually, if the Straw Hat Pirates just want to print the content of the 3 historical texts, it's okay to give them. Besides, Straw Hat Luffy also mentioned that he is not only willing to pay 100 million Baileys, but also he will share the content of these 3 historical texts with us, which can be said to be full of sincerity. Seeing that Charlotte Linlin was still hesitating, Katakuri continued to explain. He is the god of war of the entire Charlotte family, and a hero in the eyes of all younger brothers and sisters. His status in the eyes of his family brothers and sisters is even higher than that of his elder brother Perispero. To be able to have such a lofty popularity in the family is not only due to Katakuri's super strength, but more importantly, he can think calmly about everything. He really cares for the family. Taking the matter in front of him as an example, Katakuri would not think that agreeing to the conditions of the Straw Hat Pirates is to give in to the Straw Hat Pirates. On the contrary, he thinks that the Straw Hat Pirates also gave enough face to Charlotte Linlin already. If you don't appreciate it, then the consequences may be wars. When the time comes, brothers and sisters, I don't know how many people will die, EHL Charlotte Bree also immediately echoed. Yes, Mom, the kid in the Straw Hat Luffy is very sensible, and he speaks nicely, and the conditions he offered are really sincere. After thinking for a while, Charlotte Linlin dialed the phone bug again and said, Straw Hat Boy, I agree to your conditions. Your boy and the other 4 Emperor style of doing things, really it's different. Since you're so sincere, I can't let others say I'm stingy. We will hold a banquet at Cake Island tonight, and I will entertain you with the highest standard tea session. After all, it is 4 emperors. Charlotte Linlin still cares about fame, especially with a force like the Straw Hat Pirates. If you can make friends, it's better than turning against each other. Monkey D. Luffy, hey? The treatment we receive over there is completely different from that of us here. Kid Eustace, ha! This world will always speak of 13th strength, Capone Beach. When your strength is strong enough to make the 4 emperors afraid, even the unreasonable 4 emperors will be reasonable in front of you going. It's a very real scene. I don't doubt the rationality of the situation in the red frame video at all. Charlotte Linlin, nonsense. I don't doubt it myself. I need you to say it. Ah, Auntie, it's great to hear you say that. Received a reply from Charlotte Linlin. Luffy is in a good mood, mouth. This result is good for both parties. Captain Luffy, I will let the book ship lead the way. Your 1,000 miles of sunshine can reach Cake Island as long as you follow the book. As for me, I will explain to you the scenery along the way, as well as the characteristics of our various islands. Charlotte Montdor respectfully bowed to Luffy, looking polite with him in address. Then I'll trouble you. Luffy nodded with a smile. 1,000 miles of sunshine, along with the book, headed towards Cake Island in the special current in the sea area of Tato Land. Charlotte Mondor can be said to be very good at doing things, and she also stopped at 2 islands along the way, so that the Straw Hat Pirates and the group can experience the cultural characteristics of the world. Luffy notices that there are many chess soldiers on every island in Wangwa. Could this be created by the ability of the fruit of childlike fun? Nami pointed at a chess soldier, standing guard, and frowned in confusion. Following Nami's gaze, Mondol immediately introduced, "Dear Your Excellency Nami, that is a chess soldier. It is the mother who endowed chess with a soul through the ability of the soul fruit, so that they can have life. There's life is given by mother. So these chess soldiers are very loyal to mother. So this is Red lips pursed slightly. Nami nodded suddenly. Soul fruit is really practical. Use the power of the fruit to build your own army. This fruit is really powerful. As long as the ant alone can maintain the law and order of the entire island, this is really very convenient. Do the people living here have to pay protection fees or something?" Luffy asked curiously while shopping. The island where they are now is Nut Island. Luffy found that apart from a unique shape and unique building materials, the life of the people on the island is no different from that of other islands in the sea. To put it bluntly, there are so many islands here. It's like a superpower. Each island is equivalent to a city, and the cities are governed by the cadres of the Charlotte family. But at the same time, they have to accept the highest coordination of Charlotte Linlin. Protection fees? Hearing this, Mondor was stunned for a moment, then laughed. No. In our Wangwa, people who live here don't need to pay any money, but every 6 months, all residents on the island have to hand in one to their mother. The lifespan of a month. Sengoku. See? This is the situation under the pirate rule. Every 6 months, 1 month's life is handed over, which can live for several years. Seeing the scene on the screen suddenly, Sengoku was overjoyed and quickly took the opportunity to blow a wave of world government and marine. Charlotte Linlin. How many years? Sengoku, old dog. Don't you know how to count? It must be no problem for a normal person to live to 60 or 70. Kong, Even if you live to dozens, you are a blood-sucking lifespan of all the civilians in the Tato Land Sea area. Is this true? Charlotte Linlin. I don't change my surname when I'm sitting, and I don't change my name if I can do it. I just do it. What's wrong? Sora. Just admit it. Sengoku. People all over the world are watching. I don't know what those people who advocate 4 emperors are thinking. Open your eyes now and see how terrible life is for civilians under the pirate rule life. Edward Newgate. Gula la la la. If Gu Jianjun said this, the old man would admit it. How do you world government and marine have the face to say such a thing? Gold Roger. Ha. They don't do anything to shame you. Shiki. Jiahahaha. Life. Hearing that the civilians here need to turn in their lifespans on time, Nami's beautiful eyes widened suddenly, and there was a coldness in her eyes. Several other people also had bad expressions on their faces. As for the emotional changes of everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates, Mondal, of course, noticed it immediately, and he quickly explained with a smile, "Dear guests, don't be surprised because my mother is a soul fruit-capable person, and she wants to create a chess piece with life. Soldiers, city cleaners, and city liaisons all need to consume the power of the soul, which is the so-called lifespan. Actually, the lifespan paid by the people living in 10,000 kingdoms is equivalent to the protection fees paid by the territories of other forces." Zenlet Mondor explained. Usopp began to calculate in his mouth. If it is once every 6 months, 1 year is equivalent to 2 months of life. If a person lives to 60 years old, it is equivalent to only 50 years of life. My God, it's like losing 10 years of life. Chopper's face showed a shocked look. Mundell continued to explain. Actually, it's okay. With my mother, at least they don't have to worry about any danger, and everyone can live to old age in peace. One Buggy nodded. That makes sense. Although the ant collects souls, she does indeed provide shelter. We walked all the way before, and some countries hand over huge amounts of heavenly gold to the world government every year. Not only the common people can't live happily anymore, and the protection provided by the world government is only lip service. Charlotte Mondor, the Buggy over there is so right. Although my mother takes the lives of ordinary people, she can really guarantee the safety of the people of Tato Land. Are the civilians in the joining countries living a peaceful and stable life? Charlotte Perispello, what do you think? From the white-framed and red-framed videos, there are not many countries whose civilians are protected, and it depends on their own countries. The king's army to protect. Marco, yeah. If the king of those countries isn't a hole himself, like Wapol, then the common people in that country are really bad luck. Yasop. Even a good king like Cobra can't stop powerful pirates from doing bad things in their country. Sengoku, you pirates, don't open your eyes and talk nonsense. Didn't the world government send Marines to maintain the security of these countries? Nami, Marine is indeed fulfilling the duty of protecting these countries. But basically, they will send warships after something happens. But what's the use of that delayed justice? For this belated justice, Nami is deeply touched. What's more, they didn't even wait for delayed justice in the Meta Islands. It was Luffy who saved them. Ben Beckman, justice overdue. Well said. When Marines sent warships to the country where the accident occurred, the local civilians had already been killed for a long time. And even if Marines sent warships to solve the local problems, but after Marine leaves, the local civilians will still be harmed by other pirates and bandits sooner or later. Crane, what's the situation? You pirates have the face to say this? If you weren't harming civilians, why would our Marine need to be like this? GOLD, Roger. Haha, don't confuse the public. Pirate groups like the Big Mom Pirates, although they bear the name of pirates, are actually considered a country. What they do is the same as what is the difference between what the world's government is doing. It's not even as ruthless as your world's government. Kazuki Odin, Captain Roger is right. Those pirates who do evil things are indeed evil. But like Brother Whitebeard's Whitebeard pirates, they maintain the peace of one side and only charge a certain amount of protection fees to civilians within their jurisdiction. It has been a lifesaver for many people. Charlotte Lin, Marine, don't talk about those useless things. The fact is that there are more than 20 civilians in my mother's jurisdiction. No one has been attacked by pirates for many years. And those allied countries under the command of your world government are still often harmed by pirates, even by local nobles. Luffy has been listening. He has no opinion on this. In his opinion, this way of charging the lifespan of the ant is definitely wrong. But as Mundell said, this is no different from other forces collecting protection fees. At least, the civilians living in the territory of the 10,000 kingdoms don't have to worry about whether they will be harassed by pirates tomorrow. Don't worry about being shot down by celestial dragons. The lifespan they pay can be truly rewarded. Whether this is right or wrong, Luffy can't immediately draw a conclusion. At this time, Nami suddenly grabbed Luffy's hand and pulled him to the back. Then Sakura put her lips next to Luffy's ear and whispered, "This ant, isn't it the same as sucking thousands of dollars? Is it the blood of the people of the country?" Luffy nodded. Yes. From Nami's point of view, Luffy is very sure. He knows that Nami has lived in the shadow of the dragon pirates since she was a child, so she is very sensitive to freedom. After seeing the civilians in Cake Island being given a layer of shackles by the Ant 137, the blood of justice surged in Nami's heart. Seeing that Luffy agrees with her point of view, Nami clenched her small fist, her face full of justice. "Luffy, I think we should help these civilians." Luffy pursed his lips and asked in a low voice, "Defeat Big Mom pirates and liberate all nations?" Nami nodded vigorously. "Yeah. Give the civilians here a freedom." Luffy thought for a while, then leaned close to Nami's ear and asked in a low voice, "Then, shall our Straw Hat Pirates replace the Big Mom Pirates and rule the nations?" Nami suddenly frowned. Of course not. We still have our journey. And if we replace the Big Mom Pirates, then and what's the difference between the Big Mom Pirates?" Luffy bought 2 ice creams from the side of the road and whispered while eating, "Have you ever thought about it? We drove the Big Mom Pirates away, and then we left again here. Will the civilians here really be free?" Nami was about to say that they will be free, but suddenly realized what Luffy meant. "Looks like you understand." Luffy smiled. "This is New World. Once the sea area of Tato Land is no longer occupied by Big Mom pirates, then this countless pirates will flood into the island, and the life and death of civilians on these islands will depend entirely on the mood of the pirates they meet. Think about it. If that's the case, are we really saving them?" Speaking, Luffy stuffed another ice cream into Nami's mouth. Luffy said, "He now has one more target. He wants to try to change the world. But this matter, after Luffy has experienced so much, he understands one thing very well. Only by fundamentally changing can the world be truly changed. Otherwise, it's just empty talk. Is that really saving them?" Luffy's words echoed deeply in Nami's mind. If the Straw Hat Pirates beat the Big Mom Pirates away, I can't sit here. This consequence, Nami will understand immediately after thinking about it for a while. That's not helping the civilians here, but harming them. Boom. Nami took a sip of the ice cream, then looked at Luffy. "I'm sorry, I thought too one-sidedly. There's nothing to apologize for. It's just your kindness overshadowing your reason." Luffy smiled, then reached out to wipe off the ice cream overflowing from the corner of Nami's mouth. Afterwards, Luffy was about to wipe off the ice cream on his right thumb with a tissue, but Nami suddenly grabbed his hand. "Don't waste it." Speaking, Nami ate it in one gulp. Chapter 187 Rubber Rubber, Return Your Ma's Sober Punch. Please subscribe. Vin smokes Sanji. HH. Luffy. Luffy. You're so damn good. HHH Nico Robin. Ah, Usopp. Nami over there is really clinging to Luffy, Roronoa Zoro. It's obvious. Boa Hancock. I actually ate Luffy Cohen's fingers. In the evening, 1,000 Miles of Sunshine arrived at the cake. "What? My guest is here." Watching the Straw Hat Pirates come in through the gate of the cake castle, Charlotte Linlin happily stood up from her seat and greeted Luffy and the others. Aunt, I've heard of your name for a long time." Luffy was also smiling. He took a gift box from Sanji and handed it to Charlotte Linlin. "I know you like desserts. This is specially made for you. Wanna know? Your Excellency Luffy is so irresistible." As soon as I heard it was a dessert, Charlotte Linlin immediately took it and then stretched out her hand. "Everyone, please sit down." Everyone sit down. Charlotte Perispello seemed to be acting as the master of ceremonies. He clapped his hands. "Play the music dance." Suddenly, beauties of all races filed in and danced a wonderful dance. Oh. The eyes of Sanji and Brook all flew out. Wow. Seeing Sanji and Brook's reaction, Charlotte Linlin is very happy after drinking for 3 rounds. Sanji and Brook are already happily hanging out with the dancing girls. The banquet is very happy. The next day, Yuan Luo Linlin brought Luffy and Luo Guan to the place where a piece of historical text was stored. After all, it is Charlotte Linlin's treasure house. It is impossible for the entire Straw Hat Pirates to follow. Apart from Luffy and Robin, only Buggy followed. Although Zoro is stronger, Buggy has the advantage of being able to fly. Buggy without feet can fly freely. This maneuverability is unmatched by Zoro. Robin translation. Luffy heard the more complete content directly by listening to the voice of all things. Of course, he also translated it, and the content is indeed exactly the same as what he heard. Subsequently, Luffy shared all the content with Charlotte Linlin and had to pay 100 million Baileys. Charlotte Linlin is also a straightforward person. She directly rejected 100 million Baileys with a big smile. After all, although 100 million berries is not a small amount, if you collect this 100 million berries, things in the world will be different. Charlotte Linlin is proud to host the Straw Hat Pirates for 3 days. Sengoku. Damn it, now that Charlotte Linlin over there has provided it, then the correct answer can only be one of C, D, and E. From the current situation, option D is the most likely. Sengoku suddenly felt anxious about the development of the work frame video. If the correct answer is option D, then Rox, Roger, and Shiki will all be rewarded. Both Roger and Shiki are in naval headquarters, so once they get reward from the viewing system and their strength increases, they will directly put enormous pressure on the entire Marine in the upcoming Summit War. And the Rox, I don't know where that guy is now. If he's in naval headquarters, the consequences will be disastrous. Rox D, Zebek, huh? Sengoku old dog, be confident. The answer must be option D. GOL D, Roger, haha. Choose with Rox. There's really meat to eat. C is impossible, and E is impossible. Shiki, yeah, the relationship between Linlin and Red Luffy over there is so harmonious. It is definitely impossible to fight. With Linlin's character, let her daughters join the Straw Hat Pirates together, Tuan. It's totally possible. Giahaha. Rox D, Zebek, you two dogs. You really picked it up. Shit. Seeing that Roger and Shiki are going to have SX with him, Rox is very angry. Joel D. Roger. Ha! Rox, you are the best. Shiki. Captain Rox, you are the dawn of Roger and me. Crane. Trouble. Seeing that the 3 big pirates are about to get rewards, Crane Vice Admiral frowned deeply. At noon on the 3rd day, the banquet remains the same. Charlotte Perispero still acted as the master of ceremonies. He clapped his hands. Then play the music, then dance. Drinking a glass of milkshake pudding, Charlotte Linlin looked at Charlotte Bree next to her and said, Bree, yesterday's banquet cake was delicious. Go and get me another one. Banquet cake. When hearing this word, the expression on Charlotte Bree's face suddenly showed a touch of panic. Suddenly, she adjusted her expression and whispered in Charlotte Linlin's ear, Mom, there's a chocolate chiffon cake. The taste is not inferior to yesterday's banquet cake. Do you want to try it? Charlotte Linlin frowned and said unhappily, I said I want to eat yesterday's banquet cake. Didn't you understand? No, Mom, yesterday's banquet cake was made by the head chef and several ministers a day in advance, after a day of boiling and cooking. If you want to eat it, you can let's start to make it. Maybe we won't be able to make it until tomorrow at the earliest. Trying to calm down her nervous mood, Charlotte Bree patiently explained to Charlotte Linlin. But in fact, she was already panicked when she finished speaking. Charlotte Linlin was petrified. Her face darkened in an instant, and her eyes were cold and stern. That is to say, I won't be able to eat the banquet cake today. Suddenly felt Charlotte Linlin's emotional fluctuations, and Charlotte Bree panicked all of a sudden. Even under the terrifying coercion of Charlotte Linlin, Charlotte Bree can already clearly feel her soul escaping. Charlotte Linlin? This old lady suddenly suffered from food cravings? Charlotte Bree. Looks like it is Mom Charlotte Mondor. Look at the situation. Sister Bree is in danger. GOLD Roger. Linlin, you can eat everything fast. Shiki. Giahahaha. This sudden scene made all the cadres of the Charlotte family look over at once. As Charlotte Linlin's children, they are too sensitive to Charlotte Linlin's cravings. Not good. Charlotte Katakuri's face suddenly froze. Luffy was picking his teeth with a fishbone. When he heard this, he looked at Katakuri suspiciously. What's wrong? What's wrong? Your Excellency Luffy, hurry up and leave with your partners. Otherwise, I'm worried that Mom will hurt you by mistake later on. Looking at Charlotte Linlin's sudden situation, Katakuri knew that he didn't have time to explain something to Luffy. So he quickly sent them away. Flame, take the guests of the Straw Hat Pirates and leave first. Owen, you go to the head chef. You find a way to make another banquet cake as soon as possible. Katakuri didn't have time to explain, so he started ordering immediately. Hey, what's the matter? It seems like a war is about to break out. Nami opened his mouth. His little face was full of confusion. Yeah, Auntie's children seem to be in a panic. Usopp is also full of confusion. Charlotte Flamp, the 36th daughter of the Charlotte family, quickly floated over and greeted Luffy and the others. Every one of the Straw Hat Pirates, please come with me. Luffy didn't intend to ask more about the aunt's housework, so she was about to leave. But at this moment, Zenlopper suddenly let out a cry. Mom, I'm your daughter, Mom. Charlotte Bray yelled in fear. This call made everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates look at it. I saw Charlotte Lean's whole temperament change drastically, from the kind aunt just now to an old woman who wants to eat people. She grabbed Charlotte Bray. A special soul deterrent emanates from her body. You want to stop me from eating the banquet cake? The creepy voice comes from Charlotte Lean's mouth. No. Mom, I didn't intend to stop you. I'm your daughter, little Bewley Eye. Charlotte Bree's voice became more and more terrified. On her body, a substance that looked like a soul floated out of her body. Oops. Sister Bree is about to be killed by her mother. No. Mom, that's Bree. Mom, stop it. Seeing such a terrible scene, all the cadres of the Charlotte family shouted in panic. However, no one dared to go forward to help Charlotte Bree. Luffy frowned suddenly. What's going on? The aunt was fine just now. Why did she want to kill her daughter all of a sudden? Why don't you go up and help her? Hearing Luffy's words, Charlotte Flampy shook her head with a panicked face. No. Once Mom's cravings occur, no one can stop her. If anyone dares to stop Mom, I will be sucked into my soul by my mother, Luffy said in surprise. It's so serious? Doesn't that mean that Charlotte Bree will die? At this time, Charlotte Linlin had already grabbed Charlotte Bree's soul, pulled it out violently, and pulled out a fat one directly. Looking at the situation, pull it out again. Charlotte Bree can ascend to heaven in place. Slippery soul, slippery. Seeing that Charlotte Bree is about to be Charlotte Linlin was drained of her soul, Nami made a sudden move. I saw that the soul of Charlotte Bree, who was about to be dragged out, slipped out of Charlotte Lin's hand. Without the external force, the soul of Yuan Lotbra immediately retracted into Charlotte Bree's body. That slippery body. Nami used the slippery fruit ability again. I saw Charlotte Bray suddenly slipping from Charlotte Lin's big hand. As if walking through the gate of hell, Charlotte Bree was breathing heavily. She subconsciously looked at Nami. Her heart was full of gratitude. However, Nami's operation directly shifted Charlotte Lin's gaze from Charlotte Bree to Nami. Dare to stop me. A cold voice came from Charlotte Lin's mouth. She turned around and walked towards Nami. Not good. Seeing this scene, Charlotte Katakuri hurriedly shouted, Your Excellency Luffy, please leave quickly. Mom is out of control now. She will attack you in class. Is it out of control? Luffy looked at Charlotte Linlin in disbelief. Although he can eat as well as me, her food is not as good as mine. At least, even if I don't, you won't be in a hurry to eat what you want. How can I make her stop? Luffy looked at Katakuri and asked, It's useless. Before Mom eats what she wants, her cravings can't be stopped. Moreover, as time goes by, her cravings will become more and more serious. The more serious, the destructive power will become more and more amazing. Until she eats what she wants, she will destroy everything waiting in front of her. Charlotte Katakuri explains. Speaking, he hurriedly urged, Your Excellency Luffy, you should leave quickly. Otherwise it will be bad if you cause misunderstanding. Luffy shook her head. No need. Look at the situation. If she doesn't stop her as soon as possible, this cake island will probably be destroyed by her, right? Boom. Charlotte Linlin shattered the banquet table in front of her with one punch and quickly forced Nami. Seeing that Luffy and others are still not leaving, Charlotte, Lily How, Tekatakuri is in a hurry. Your Excellency Luffy, didn't you listen to me? As long as she doesn't eat what she wants, no matter what, I can't stop my mother either. Can't stop it. Luffy has a strange face. I think there's nothing that can't be fixed with 10 fists speaking. He jumped out one step forward. Hair and body hair instantly turned into a white flame cloud. White steam is floating around her body. Nika form. Transformation. Luffy is in the air. He bites his thumb and instantly turns into a giant fist. The jet black armament haki covers his fist. Purple haki rippling. Armament haki instantly covered his fist. Hey, 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 Your Excellency Luffy. He will PS off Mom. It's over. After he PD off his mother, he will definitely be able to escape smoothly. In the midst of his mother's rage, we are going to be finished. Help! Looking at Luffy directly attacking Charlotte Linlin, the rest of the Charlotte family showed panicked expressions. Yaosho. You F it up and ran away, we can do it. 4. Rubber rubber, return your mom's, sober punch. Accompanied by a low shout, Luffy punched out. Boom! The huge roar instantly resounded through the entire Cake Island. At this time, if someone is looking at the direction of the Cake Island from a distance, they will definitely see an invisible momentum erupting from the core of the Cake List in an instant. It spreads violently towards the distance at an extremely fast speed. The sea surface around Cake Island seems to be pushed away by countless huge palms. Boom! The waves are surging. Chapter 188 Linlin. Try to surpass me, Katakuri. Please subscribe. Rox D. Zebek. Nani. When seeing Charlotte Linlin being punched by Luffy, Rox was so angry that the back molars were about to collapse in her front teeth. Although the punch hit Charlotte Linlin, it hurt Rox. Because of this punch, his reward was blown away obviously. The answer is E. Gold Roger. Damn, Rox idiot. It's really no good hanging out with him. Shiki, damn it. It's true. Let's just say that this idiot has no good luck. Sure enough, we both have to lose our lives. Rox D. Zebek, get lost. Just now when you thought you were about to get a reward, you two smacked your mouths like honey. Now that there is no reward, all ivory spit out of your dog's mouth, right? Damn it. If there are more questions to answer, don't follow Lousy's choice. Gold Roger. Don't you talk nonsense. If you get benefits from following you, of course we will say good things about you. If you don't get benefits, shouldn't you scold you a few times? Shiki, idiot Rox, will still choose the same one as you later. I'll scold you if you don't get a reward. UBD, Edward Newgate, Gulalala. You two work harder, fight for how old you are, and you will be in the same generation as me soon. Rox D. Zebek, the one on the horse. Sengoku. Okay. Red Luffy's punch is beautiful. It just wiped out the rewards of the 3 pirates. Rox D. Zebek. National War. Are you in your 80s? Gold Roger. National War. Are you in your 80s? Shiki. National War. Are you 8 days old? Sengoku. A bunch of dog things. Ding. Those who answer the wrong question and answer this time will be punished. Rox D. Zebek. Deprived of the right to answer the next round of questions, deducting 11 months and 29 days of life. Gold Roger. The right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and life expectancy will be deducted for 2 months and 17 days. Shiki. The right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and life expectancy will be deducted by 1 month and 8 days. Topman Vachali. Deprived of the right to answer the next round of questions, deducting 6 months and 11 days of life. While doing it, the punishment for this round of answering questions is coming Charlotte Linlin. Puffed. Ha ha. Captain Rox broke the record. Edward Newgate. The previous record is the National War. It seems to be 11 months and 28 days. I didn't expect Rox to climb the peak bravely. It is really gratifying to break the record again under such a very low probability. Hey. Gulalala. Sengoku. Whitebeard, you idiot. My name is Sengoku. 520-inch. Edward Newgate. Okay, War of Nations Marco. Haha. Rox D. Zebek. Damn it. It directly deducted 1 year of my life. Roger and Shiki. 2 dogs. How can they deduct so little? Damn it. Shiki. We were both cheated by you. Shouldn't we deduct less? You are the culprit for the wrong choice. We should deduct more. Gold Roger. That's right. Only 1 year's deduction. 10 years deduction would be better. Rox D. Zebek. You are mentally retarded. You can only deduct 1 year at most. Ding. The top 3 correct answers in this prize quiz are Vinsmoke Sanji, Izambaron V. Nasha Langshong Bai. Congratulations to both of you. Get rewards. Vinsmoke Sanji, bonus Taijutsu, 8 inner gates. Isan Baron V. Nasha Langshong. Reward the natural will of the snake blood dark. Ding. Because Taijutsu 8 inner gates and natural will Orochi blood, darkness, are magical things from Otherworld, special remarks are made. Physical technique 8 inner gates remarks. Release the body's restriction on chakra so that the excess energy stars can be released. There are 8 gates in the human body, such as opening the door, shutting down the door, living the door, hurting the door, killing the door, Jingmin, startling the door, and killing the door. This 8 gate will set a limit on the amount of chakra in the body, but this technique can make chakra forcibly surpass this limit, thereby drawing out his original strength that was dozens of times stronger. However, while gaining strength, the caster himself will suffer damage, so this technique is listed as one of forbidden technique. When the 8 gates are all open, it is called 8 inner gates formation, which can instantly gain a power hundreds of times greater than itself. But it will also die due to the exhaustion of its own vitality. If the physical body is strong enough, or the defense of the physical body is strong enough, it can offset.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.